the story about a grub. A grubby little guy who doesn't know it yet, but he's in for a big change.
Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. He'd eat his leaves all day, have grubby things to say. When he was asked to comment on what might be one day,
he said, I'll keep doing things my grub way. It's my way from day to day. What may be one day. Till then, I'll stick to my grubby way.
Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. Grub went on with the way that took him day to day, thinking things that made him say, what if things worked another way?
He said, I've been doing things my grub way. It's the same old stuff day to day. Perhaps there is another way, so I can change my grubby way.
Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. Grub was happy doing his grub things, eating leaves and doing other grub things. Grub went on, but changed his ways. Woke one day and Grub felt strange. Wrapped himself up and slept for days. Woke up again and he was amazed.
I was happy to do my bit, fit myself into where I fit. Never knew how free I could be, couldn't tell I could be me. I settled in and I did my thing. Never knew I was gonna, never knew I was gonna grow wings, living my life day to day. Now everyone can hear me say, Grub was happy that he tried new things, so very happy he loved his wings. Recapping tonight's top stories. Grub was happy that he tried new things, so very happy he loved his wings. Back to you in the studio.
No! God, please, no!
Hi, everybody. What's going on? How are we? Bloody, it's okay to be back. Welcome back, me. Welcome back, everyone. And welcome back, Scunge Princess. Crikey, my soundboard is terribly slow tonight. Probably should have restarted it. How are you, Scungy?
I'm okay.
Okay. Oh, there's the captions again. Any tech people out there who know how to turn off the automatically generated, what are they called? Subtitles that keep popping up on my Windows laptop. I'd appreciate knowing how to switch the buggers off. Anyway, how are we all? James Hukulak, first in 3 on the trot, mate, even though there was a couple of weeks off there that no one got a chance to do. Huawei, how's it going? I'll look into your soul if I want, mate. Calm down. Joel G, how are you? Joshua, the Aquamate, how's it going, mate? Hope you're well. Crypt Keeper Aquatics, welcome. Hello there. Alyssa Bentley, good to see you again. Thanks also, Alyssa, for, checking in on us and stuff when all this stuff was going down. Appreciate friends from over that side of the planet giving us a hoy and making sure we're not drowning in floodwaters, etc. Yes, that took me by surprise as well, the daylight savings change Huawei. I only found out probably an hour before I actually started, maybe a little bit more than an hour, that daylight savings had changed over there. That's what you get when you're away for a few weeks. BJ Palmer, how are you, love? Good to see you as always. New local Austin. How do you do? Two Dougs, good to see you, mate. GRB, g'day, mate. Good to see you back, dude. Mickham, g'day there. So yeah, I guess to fill everyone in on what went down here, we had what was it? 2 weeks from Monday ago. I think that was it, wasn't it? 3 Mondays ago. Let's just say that. Just upon sunrise, we had massive floods right across our region. Many rains.
Through the previous night too.
What did you? Oh, right through the previous night. Yes. Yeah. So
There's
we had some
people evacuating in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we had in my town alone, we had approximately 700 millimeters of rain in a 24-hour period. G'day, Rock Hard Tanks. How are you? Which, if you don't know your metric numbers, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a hell of a lot of water in a 24-hour period, especially when we're basically in a valley with lots and lots of mountainous areas around us. So all of that water has to go somewhere, and it tends to take the path of least resistance, as we know, which is down the hill and into the town. So thousands of people basically ousted from their houses, houses destroyed. I even heard a story yesterday of a house on, I'm not sure if it's the main drag into town or one of the streets beside it, completely flood damaged house, and then it burnt down the day before yesterday. So, that's a real slap in the face to those poor people whose house not only was destroyed probably, unsalvageably by flood, but then it burns down a few days later.
But houses were not only getting flooded, but like literally washing away with families in them.
Yeah. We've had stories of people dying in houses that got washed down hills and couldn't get out of their house. People trapped in attic spaces in their ceilings. A family of 7, I heard, got trapped in the attic of their house and all drowned together in the roof of the house. It's absolutely terrible times. There's they're certainly not broadcasting a lot of the death stories on the news and stuff. I'm assuming it's mainly to keep the community's morale up, and no doubt over the coming few weeks there'll be many more stories of deaths that have occurred during the time. But yeah, it's really confronting to still go around the town and the amount of stuff that people have on their footpaths and out the front that's just been trashed by the floodwaters. We've got the army have come in. We've got a bunch of good dudes in uniform that are helping with cleanup and whatnot. That's very good to have happen. They're doing good work. But yeah, my street was already cleaned up probably Thursday or Friday after the flooding, and now it's basically filled up again with people's rubbish on the curbside. There's just so much stuff. My sons had 7 of their multiple cars go underwater without insurance. So there's a lot of work ahead for them. 2 cars were written off. One was one of my son's girlfriends. She was insured. She was a lucky kid, a sensible kid maybe. But when you get young gentlemen trying to insure flashy sports cars in this country, it is rather cost prohibitive for a young man's income. Terrible times. We shall overcome. It was really good to see the community bond together and act as one. And then it just starts pissing down right as I say that. Here comes the next flood. Basically, it's been raining on and off constantly for about probably 5 or 6 weeks now. Maybe 3 or 4 days where no rain has occurred in that entire time. So yeah, it's really, really wild times. But yeah, thankfully my house was unaffected because we are just a little, probably about a foot higher than the other houses in the street. There was a couple of houses in the street that they're built 900 mil or 3 feet off the ground, so they were okay, and we were just out of reach of the flood water. So thankfully, because I mean, as most of you are well aware, I look after my elderly parents. That would have been a nightmare to try and sort them out with their mobility issues and whatnot, trying to get them into boats to be rescued, people getting rescued off the roofs of their houses in boats and stuff, or just in the street. We had one lady in our street who had to get taken out of her house on a kayak, taken out of the water. Quite a few elderly people in the street. No, not so much anymore, I guess. Maybe 4 or 5 left. So yeah, wild times. It's absolutely heart-wrenching going through and seeing your hometown in the state that it's in. And yeah, my heart goes out to the people that lost so much. Yeah, so we had like 4 days without power and without water, because they obviously you can't let your normal town water supply come into people's houses because floodwaters kind of fill it up with muck and poo and germs and whatnot. So yeah, there's a little bit of a stretch on water and cooking on a gas stove to boil a kettle. All those kind of things that you take for granted until you're without them. Helicopters, BJ, were certainly non-stop for about a week and a half, and some nice big sexy military helicopters as well. It was amazing to see how quickly stuff happened. Well, it was amazing to see how quickly the water came up. Somehow I managed to sleep through the worst of it. I was awoken at about 8:30 on the Monday morning by one of my sons banging on my door saying all the cars had gone underwater, and I just thought he was messing with me. But yeah, he got very serious very quickly and went outside, and the whole street was just a river full of water flowing quite rapidly. The creek beside my house was the highest I've ever seen it. And I luckily broke the bank, the retaining wall bank, further down the driveway, but didn't make it up to us, so that was pretty good. G'day C23, how are you, Clarence? Yeah, full on times, and that rain that just pissed down very hard for a minute has already gone. So wild. So who knows what's next? Earthquake, something like that maybe. I suppose it's not really possible here, but let's not write it off as a chance. S, how's it going? Good to see you. A bit late. Yeah, probably you're factoring in that extra hour as well. Daylight savings changed in America, US and A, or not all of it maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What? Yeah, keep going.
Oh, that's what you wrote when you were writing it. I thought you had made up a fanciful word, but now I understand.
Which fanciful word? DST.
No. When you wrote US and A as one word.
Yeah, right. Gotcha. I thought you would have picked up on that one. Snappy time. They're the states to live in, Huawei. The 2 states in the US that don't observe daylight savings time. Yeah, I think we have 1 or 2. 2, I think. Does WA do it, GRB? I don't think WA does it, and I know Queensland doesn't do it. Pretty sure. Pretty sure there's more than one. What else? What's been going on for you, Skanji? I've been doing so much talking already.
Yeah, not a lot except for recovering from floodliness. You already know, but I can tell the story of what happened to my mum's car if you want.
Yeah, go on.
But only if you reckon. Well, yeah, my road collapsed. Like the road just fell away, and my mum was going into town to help with flood cleanup. But she'd been able to get her car out by going. There was one road that was still accessible, and she managed to get her car out and around. And so I was dropping her off, and she was walking across the broken road bit and taking her car. And then then we came the next day, and some lovely person had burnt her car, like must have poured something all over it to make it go up, and there was like nothing left but a shell of her car. It just got completely.
It really highlights the level of human grubbiness when the whole region is going through a natural disaster to the extent that we've not seen before, and there's still fucking assholes out there that do shit like that to people.
I mean, my assumption is that it's kids, not
Teenagers,
kids, but yeah,
having a blast.
Because I don't know. Yeah, I reckon they're the kind of people who still, that whole concept is sort of lost on them, and the joy of watching a car go up in flames is bigger than the ability to feel how other people will feel and stuff.
Yeah, empathy is a learned thing, perhaps. But yeah, brutal, stupid, fucking humans. And speaking of brutal,
what's up? I was eating a chocolate. You brought me in right when I'm eating this chocolate.
I was trying to time it.
It's a deliberate technique that he has to catch people the most off guard when he brings them up.
Mm-hmm.
At worst possible moment, yay.
Yeah.
Time to go.
I was watching your chew strokes for a little while so I could get my timing just spot on,
Mm-hmm.
I could see you chewing in the little screen.
What's happening, man?
The
Great Flood. You've survived the Great Flood.
We survived. Some didn't, and some lost everything. But it kind of leaves me feeling a little empty inside that I'm okay. When so many people lost so much, and the just utter devastation around the town. I grew up in this place. I've been here for 40 years.
Yeah,
and to see that sort of stuff is it's just brutal. I took my mum out for a drive on, I think it was the Thursday after the floods happened, and she was wrong for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah,
didn't sit well with her either.
Yeah, it was looked to be pretty bad. I guess I'm supposed to be like Debbie Downer or whatever, but I don't know how to react very well to bad news. So,
did you see anything of it on American televisual news or anything like that, or did you have to go searching it up?
Not really. You kind of had to search for it, because the local news around here is pretty. So, if you watch the local news, it's pretty focused
within that area.
Yeah, I mean, and you'll get a little bit of international news, but not a lot. And it'll basically be there's a war and there's this and there's that, but the local news kind of does that, and then the national news these days is, I think there was a little blurb that I saw that there was a lot of flooding going on in Australia, but I guess I would put it this way. So like Australia, Canada are kind of the siblings to America or something like that. In the world view, I guess, sort of vibe like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was like, well, it's flooding where the white people live, so they'll be fine, kind of deal, which is, it's not great, but that's kind of how it goes down. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, tragedy in Canada, but they'll be okay, But yeah, how widespread was the flooding? Was it just mainly in your area, or was it all around, or?
It was quite a large section of the east coast. The first
Right.
flooding happened up in Brisbane, the capital city of Queensland.
Right.
And then within a week, it was in our area, messing up
Mhm.
our stuff, and then it moved a little bit further south as well. So probably about 1,000 k range. I think it hit some stuff in Sydney as well, but by the time it got to Sydney, I think there wasn't as much water in it, so there wasn't as much damage
Right.
done.
I also live in a place where there's constantly flooding here. Like there's always some flood thing going on in Washington. It's like it sort of just rotates around the state, throughout the year. So it's sort of like, oh yeah, that thing's happening as far as that stuff goes,
Yeah, we get quite a lot of flooding, just not to the extent that it happened there.
Not to this level.
This is like the highest recorded levels by, what was it? Is it like about half a meter?
Oh, I thought it was even more than that. They were saying some places in Lismore they had water 4 meters higher than the 2017 floods.
Oh wow!
Which at that stage
but the 2017 weren't the highest. The highest on record were the 1954 ones, and then slightly lower than 1954. I think about this much lower was the 1974 ones, and this was above the 54 by a significant
volume
amount.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My heart goes out to Scungy's mom getting her car burned for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, what a bummer. Like, seriously. I don't know how you guys are with the insurance and that kind of stuff, but
she was not insured.
Oh, really? Is there do you guys have like the crime, like if a crime has been committed upon you stuff?
I think it's only if it's like a violent crime, like if someone
seems pretty violent to me.
Yeah, well, but yeah, I think that they do have something for victims of crime, but I don't think it counts for like if someone destroys your car.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to start a GoFundMe or something, right?
Yeah, well, that's a lady from her work started one up, so that's nice.
Well,
the difficult thing is that it's everybody's lost everything, so
right.
So many people lost their cars to the flood. Do
we have a link for it? Do we have a link for the GoFundMe? We can tell the Americans to get off their asses. And
if you've got a link for it, we'll certainly put it up. That would be choice.
I don't know how to find it. I
well,
can look.
You got some time. You can get it to me tomorrow if worst case scenario. You can always message it to me, and then I'll blast it out to the gringos. I'll be like, hey, all you gringos, get on it, and they'll be like, wait, what? What happened? And I'll be like, shut up. Stick your money in the internet. Do it. You know, and they'll be like, oh, okay, you're right. I don't have any questions now. You know?
Yeah, it came at a pretty bad time too, because Sarah and her mum had basically just put all of their spare money into Sarah's new car.
Yeah.
Then again, at least we have a car.
This is true.
Right.
One car is better than
There's
no
one.
car, especially where you live.
You know, it's one of those things where you're like, when something totally shitty happens, and then you're like, well, you know, I'm not. I got sandwiches, and I'm not home. Fuck. All right. You know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. It's hard. It's hard. It's very confusing being a person sometimes, where you're just like, this devastatingly shitty thing happened, but then it's like, but I still got my house, and everybody's healthy, and well, you know, I guess it's okay. You know what I mean? You're like, can I just be in the middle of internal conflict? Like, what do I feel right now? What's the feel? Yeah. Fucking bummer.
But, you know, I think that sometimes it's easier to deal when it's like, you know, sometimes just a small thing goes wrong or everything else is going right and one small shitty thing happens and you're like, oh, it's so fucked.
Right.
But then when everything just falls apart and you just have to fully let go. You just have to let go and just like go into acceptance of it.
Well, yeah, it's always good to just feel the serenity vibes when you can. You know, you're like, well, it's all fucked. Might as well just
Yeah.
might as well just go with this damn river here. All right, the river is shit. Here we go. Okay, all right. So,
Yeah, I must say one of my biggest problems was having a very fussy father who doesn't like changes to his rituals and schedules and stuff, and being relegated to having to have, you know, sandwiches for dinners and stuff like that without being able to cook proper meals,
mhm.
and, you know, getting cranky about it. And it's like, dude, just bear with it for a few days and we'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's easy to get like super, you know, it's easy to get like super agitated when things are like going wrong, and then it's like, oh yeah, okay, it'll go back to normal, you know.
G'day, Mike and Pam. How are we? Good to see you.
Which is super wild, like, with the pandemic stuff, like everybody's been at a 9 for forever, you know. And what's crazy, I saw today that like they shut, like in China, they shut down the city of Shenzhen, right? Which is like, I don't know, 29 million people or 30 million people or something crazy like that, because they had 60 cases of COVID. They've shut down the whole city.
They've got their zero COVID policy, don't they? So if it shows up, they want to be very, 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 very vigilant.
Yeah. And
well, that's what we're led to believe anyway.
You know, I was thinking about that and I was like, well, okay. You know, that's like a perspective thing. You know what I mean? It's like just Seattle has like, I don't know, 800 cases of COVID still, you know, and we're like, oh, that's acceptable. It's like yellow on the scale of green to dark red. Like yellow, we're good. Yeah, it's not even orange, you know. They're like color coding now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, T-Bones, you're south of me, aren't you? Down the Central Coast or somewhere. So you were affected by the water as well.
Yeah.
Brutal. One interesting thing that happened to me was the Wednesday before the flooding occurred.
Uh-huh.
So exactly 3 weeks ago today, Blake from Blake's Aquatics popped some shrimp in the post for me that I'd purchased off him.
Oh, wow.
They arrived yesterday. 21 days in the bags. There was 2 bags in there. One bag was a pinkish coloured soup, which I'm assuming was the bag that had red cherry shrimp in it.
Mm-hmm.
and the other bag had perfectly alive shrimp in it, which
Yeah.
surprised the heck out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But the soup bag had nothing else in it. The bag that survived had a little piece of Windelov Java fern in it and some Java moss as well. And I'm pretty damn sure that's what saved those guys' lives. And there was babies in the bag as well. So there was probably a buried female had gone into the bag and sometime over the 3 weeks they were hatched out.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny. I had a bag get caught in something. I forget what it was, ice storm or something weird, and it like got redirected and then got lost and then it got found and then it showed up and it was something like that, like 2.5 weeks. And yeah, all the shrimp were just in there, like, "Sup, bro? We're in this bag, like." Could we be not in this bag anymore? You're like, yeah, for sure. I thought you'd all be long dead, but yeah, it's interesting with the shrimp. The shrimp is the interesting one that like they ship so well. If the conditions are right-ish,
Yeah. Well, I would say Blake will probably take that learning and now pop some kind of little bit of vegetation in any bag that he ships just in case.
Right.
Because that was the only difference between the 2 bags, was one had plant matter in it and the other one didn't.
Right.
And yeah, of course, there was absolutely no way I could do a drip acclimation or anything for those guys, because as soon as that bag was open, it was going to go total poison instantly. So yeah, I just had to chuck them in a net straight in the tank, and they're all still swimming around today. So they've handled quite well.
All right.
I suppose any water would have been better than what was in the bag for them.
I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say that, like, well, maybe they just got a little ecosystem in there going on. Like they're just down with it. But yeah, I've had that happen with the shrimp. Like, oh, you guys have just been in there forever. Okay, well, don't blind yourself with the light. No, it's not total darkness.
Alyssa says, can I just add that it's pretty sweet that Australia seems perfectly okay with folks just having 3-generation households? Yeah, you can just add that, sure.
You can just add that.
Sarah lives in a 3-generation household.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing.
mean,
that's...
I guess, but not exactly.
I guess you're 2 separate households, kind of, aren't you? Separated by stairs and a roof.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's not very common. It's not very common in the U.S.
Well, and a lot of the time here, it's like we have no choice, because the price of housing is just unaffordable, and so people have to come together in whatever ways they can.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, is there like not an apartment to rent or anything like that?
Well, like, say, for me personally, to just rent a basic house with not much yard in town would cost me would cost almost as much as this house that we can share.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just completely unfeasible. It's like would cost me about $250 a week more than what I could produce just to get a house on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same.
Oh, no one said it was feasible in the States. We're just doing it. We're just happening.
But the thing is, so there's very few houses, and so any house that you might go to try and apply to rent, say there'll be 50 other people who all want it.
Yeah.
And so the only people who, so then the landlords have the pick of, so it's only people on really high incomes and with perfect rental records, and landlords, of course, prefer people with no children and no pets.
Mm-hmm.
And things like
and
that.
They
So it can be
prefer the people who bid higher than what they're asking for the property.
So you can do that. So they'll say, they'll be like, it costs $6.50 a week, but there are 50 people going for it, and someone says, well, I'll give you $7.50. So then they'll rent it to them. But then that keeps on pushing all the prices up higher. But yeah, there's not enough housing, and the prices just keep on getting raised up higher and higher. So what a lot of people do is they just gather a whole group of people together to rent a house and share the house together. So it's not only that families share, but lots of people end up in share housing because you just cannot afford to live on your own. Like, it's not that you could just do it, like you can't do it. There's also a law in terms of signing a lease and being able to take on a property, that the amount of your income, like the rent can only be a certain percentage of your income. So if you're not earning, like, you might go, well, I can afford, to spend 60% because I need a house to live in. And they'll go, well, no, it has to be 40% so that you just can't even rent the house. Yeah. So, and yeah, if you don't have the money to pay rent, then you're out.
Right.
So you've got to be able to afford it, and it's not affordable.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not affordable here either, So I'm just saying, I understand, but there's this mentality here in the States that you turn 18, you got to get out, you got to go away.
That's the great American dream, isn't it?
Yep, and then you drive your kids away, and then by the time you're old, they live in a different city now, and they're not. It's not like they're gonna move back to your city.
Yeah.
They're not gonna move back to your area because now they live, 200 miles away or whatever.
G'day, Zip Gun. I don't know if I said hi to you.
Nola's Dolls.
Wasn't that a song?
Nola's Dolls and Aquatics says, wait. Yeah, says my goal in life is to never be in debt. And the reason I got to say something about this is that was my goal for a really long time. And I currently don't have any debt other than the house, and the remaining payment on one of my trucks and whatnot. And I realistically had that mentality of just never going into debt. And one of the unfortunate things is if you get focused and stay in that mentality of I'll never be in debt, the unfortunate thing is that our economic system it sort of caters to leveraging debt. And it took me until I was probably like 30 something to realize that, like, oh crap, I'm missing out on a lot of upward movement by just strictly ignoring debt. Like I didn't have a high credit score because I didn't have any debt. I wasn't utilizing the economic mechanisms that I could be utilizing. Whereas, like, right now, I think I have access to, like, like 20,000 in revolving credit, which, is credit cards basically. But like my APR on the credit cards is only like 11.5 or something like that. It's 12%, as opposed to most people are 18 to 26 or whatever. And I have access to that stuff because I was like, oh, wait a minute, I really got to learn about, leveraging my small income to try and like move up the food chain a little bit, like financially, because I was like, I can't just end up being a poor guy forever. And knowing that I only make like, $50,000 a year, there's no way I'm ever going to save enough money to be like, oh, look at me, I'm set up and ready to go. So you definitely have to do everything within your means, but you definitely have to start to figure out how to leverage your debt so that you can move up economically within our system. it's as much as I would like to say like get a homestead and become a homesteader and do all that kind of stuff. You know, if it's difficult to buy a house right now, imagine buying 50 acres of farmland somewhere with a house on it, on top of it, right? Yeah, and that is one of my goals to do. But unless I have the economic availability to do that without, um, you know, well, I guess the thing is, if you want to buy like 40 acres or 50 acres or 100 acres or something, it's going to cost at least $1 million. And if you don't have like the debt ratio to be able to do that, to operate alone, to be able to move up and do that thing, it's just not going to happen. And one of the things that pisses me off is that corporations have done that, and they continue to buy those small farms as the people age out, especially in the United States. I'm not sure what's going on in Australia, but those old properties that are 100-acre, 200-acre, 500-acre small farms, they're just being bought by corporations right now, and they're being bought by corporations on just a debt ratio. They're basically just saying, we'll just assume the debt of that property, and then we'll start making money off of it, and then we'll pay against the debt. And you know, I went into this stuff to like really trying to deal with this stuff around like 2005, when all of the apartment buildings, all of the commercial buildings, and all that stuff were being bought up in my city, and I was being forced out of my, you know, shitty artist's apartment. You know, I had like an artist's apartment in a crappy part of town, which started to become a cool part of town because, like, you know, it's where all the music and art was and stuff. So of course they wanted to gentrify that area because, hey, all the art and music is here. But then, of course, they gentrified the area, and all the artists and musicians had to move away because it's too expensive to live. And you know, so I started to learn that. I learned a lot of that stuff at the time, and I would encourage people to go learn about it because, you know, it really is. It really is. You just have to figure out your scale to be able to do that kind of stuff. And you know, one of the things that has been going around for years and years now in the U.S. is that some crazy portion of Americans can't handle a $400 emergency. Like they just don't have the money to handle a $400 emergency, a $500 emergency, $1,000 emergency. And at the very least, like,
You're getting Terry to go, Scungy. It's getting close to the time.
oh my God, she left.
I was just about to say, it's getting close to the time you have to go. Are you going to go?
Oh my gosh, she bailed on us. Sorry, I started ranting.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, at this point, like, I have enough credit that, you know, if there was an emergency, I could just pay for it and figure it out down the line, as opposed to going, you know, I don't have enough money in the bank account right now, kind of, you know, and that kind of stuff. And so it is pretty important. I think it is pretty important for, you know, people to take that kind of stuff into account now, because it is 2022. And as much as I would like those, you know, overlying economic structures to change, they probably aren't. And by the time that they do, you'll probably be so far behind that it wouldn't even matter. So, you know, like, it's going to take a really long time for workers to unionize, right? Like, you know, I think only 8% of Americans are working under a union, and most of them are all federal workers. You know, it's going to take a long time to try and wrangle up 90% of the Americans to join or unionize in some facility, especially with all the union busting around here.
G'day, Scotty. Alien World Aquatics. How are you, mate? Another one that I must put out thanks to for checking in on me during the floodings and whatnot. And Joel, of course. Joel was checking in on me too. Who's talking about The Last Kingdom? Fish Dreams. Blacky is the star. Why am I the star? I don't even look like that dude. He's got like abs and stuff.
Somebody was
Um,
asking me about The Last Kingdom if I was watching it. I didn't realize
well,
it was in season 5. Is it really?
I started watching it quite a while ago, but I
Mhm.
kind of got bored with it, or something else took my interest, or something. But then I couldn't remember where I was up to, so I just went and started it again, and I think I'm like maybe halfway through the second season now.
Oh, right. It's the Viking show. Yeah. Yeah, I
Vikings.
just, I'm going to be honest with you. I just, I don't know, man. Just Viking shows just don't do it for me. You know what I mean? It's like they never won anything. Like they just went around raiding and they could never get it together. You know what I mean? It's like that the end of it is that they all just die. They all just die out.
Yeah, apart from a few that settled. But yeah, that's kind of I think the problem was that maybe that's how they should have just persisted, is just on the with the raiding and whatnot. But they once they saw how other countries were doing it, they wanted a piece of that ruling class kind of bizzo, and some of them aimed a little bit too high. But they
Yeah.
achieved some pretty impressive stuff for what they had and what they did.
I mean, it's true, but I mean, like they did have a great society, and I don't know how well the shows can even portray the societies, but like the Vikings were generally ostracized from every culture that they came in contact with because they washed their buttholes, like they washed themselves, which was like aberrant behavior at the time.
Mm.
Um, so it's like, and they just didn't make it. You know what I mean? It's a bummer. Like they did settle down and didn't get eradicated from the earth, but like they never could get it together. Like they could never unite as one country, and just be like, oh yeah, we need to amass our numbers and work together and whatnot. It was like, oh, we'll just be a bunch of small groups, like just doing some shit, and then every once in a while we'll attack each other because like screw those guys. Like look what are those guys? They have a boat. We have a boat. What else are we gonna do? Attack each other? So I don't know.
G'day,
It's just
Brookley
difficult
Bell.
for me. Huh?
I said, hello, Brookley Bell. It's the first time in Brookley Bell. I'm not familiar with your name. Welcome if it is. And I tend to agree. I like the Viking shows because I love their culture and whatnot.
I
I'm
mean, I
I'm
love their
hoping.
culture, and I'm Danish, so I mean, I'm American, but my lineage is Danish. My name is Danish, so well, the Americanized version, the Englishified version, but like so maybe I don't like Viking shows because I'm descendant of one of the settlers or something. I don't know.
You
And I'm
take
just like, well, those
umbrage
guys
to
were
it, perhaps.
dicks, right? What's that?
You take umbrage to it, perhaps. The shows don't are slighting your ancestors, maybe something like that.
Hey man, it's possible. You never know.
G'day, Rico. How's it going?
Yeah, my great grandpa came to the U.S. His name was Magnus, and he was a soldier. He was a soldier with the Royal Guard, and then decided to leave and come to the New World. He might be my great grandpa. I'm not sure. I'd have to go look at the family tree. But it's decidedly much more tracked than the other side of my family. Like my family tree on my dad's side is like, oh, here it is. Here's a book. Here's a whole bunch of documents on all these people and stuff. So they're pretty easy to track my dad's side.
Do you know if Joan of Arc ever had kids?
No, she was killed. She was murdered, right?
Yeah, she was murdered really young, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was like 18 or 19 or something. I mean, back then she probably could have gotten pregnant at 12 or whatever, but I don't think that she ever had a kid. I don't think so. Could be
Yeah,
wrong. Could be wrong,
my,
but
my sister,
memory suits.
my sister's done a bit of the ancestry stuff, and she's gone like back a phenomenally long time. And apparently, there's Joan of Arc in there, and I thought she was dead before she was of childbearing age or child rearing age.
Yeah,
She was like only
I
19
don't
or
think that
20
she
or
had
something.
kids, but she might have been like related to somebody that, you know, that you're related to, you know,
Yeah, maybe.
because they always do that. Like, you know, they do that thing where they're like, oh, here's the one famous person that we sort of is
It might
vibing in
be.
that zone, and you're like, well, yeah, you know.
Yeah, it didn't track with me. I didn't think it was a propes.
Huh?
I said it didn't track with me. I didn't seem right because I didn't think she did any breeding. But yeah, what you say could be accurate. They might just be chucking it in there as a novelty.
Could be. You never know. We never really know. As a matter of fact, here's a hilarious historical anecdote from recent argumentation that I got into. I'm a member of a bunch of historical groups, especially like on Facebook, because I don't really care about the other groups on Facebook. That's the kind of stuff I like, is like the history and stuff like that. And one of my local groups has a bunch of guys that go hunting for bottles. They go looking for old bottles, and so they do these digs where they know that they think that where there was a trash hole, basically. They go and they do these digs to find these old bottles, and a lot of times they find these really cool old, like, apothecary bottles and stuff like that, right? And it's very interesting. Those same guys went out to the woods and they located a bunch of old logging saws. You know, the big long metal saws that the two
Two-handers.
guys would pull back and forth.
I got some of
And
them
you
out
know,
in the shed.
yeah, and where I'm from, this whole state I live in was covered in old growth, which, you know, the trees are here. It's very hard to find old growth because they were logging everywhere, right?
Mm.
And these guys went out and they found a bunch of those saw blades, and they dug them out of the ground because they used a metal detector, you know, and they dug down there to find out what it was, and they found a bunch of these saw blades, so they posted some pictures of it, like, yeah, we found these saw blades, fantastic. You know, it's too far up to like hike them back down the hill because they're too heavy, blah blah blah. And they started just getting attacked by all of these, for lack of a better term, morons in the area here, that were like, you shouldn't bring those back. You shouldn't bring those back. Those are archaeological finds. And I'm like, what kind of demented moron are you? So these saw blades were used between 1890 and 1905, right? Because the type of tines on there, you can tell like how they're cut. That's the era that these saws are from. Yeah. And I'm going like,
g'day, Lefty.
We have
good night,
documentation.
Lefty.
We have documentation of these saw blades. We know exactly what they are. There's tons of them in museums and shops and whatever all over the state. There's no mystery as to what these saw blades are. They're from 100 years ago. Some people threw their trash away 100 years ago, which, by the way, these saw blades were discarded like trash, right? These guys went out in the woods. They found these saw blades. They dug them up. They dug up some old trash. And these people are like, that's an archaeological site. It's an archaeological find. It's like, what exactly are you going to learn from digging up these saw blades? If we're talking about archaeology, the idea of digging up,
learning from ancient history.
Right. We're digging up man-made artifacts in order to learn the history. I'm like, we have photographs of people using these saw blades with fucking cameras. We have photographs of these people, right? What are you going? What archaeological dig is showing up to look at these saw blades, right? And it's just like all these people, like, yo, you're fucking all these people, and I just realized, like, I'm arguing with a bunch of moronic boomers that think, stuff that happened 100 years ago is like, oh, it was historical event. It's like, it's garbage. They found garbage and dug up garbage out of the forest, which isn't supposed to have garbage in it. First of all, this steel is not from the woods. It was natural formation. Is that what you think it is? Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
I've begun the massive task of going through my old man's garage or shed, whatever you want to call it. It's a garage and a tool shed and a workspace and whatnot.
It's all in one.
It's just, it's massive amounts of stuff that has just been hoarded over the years. And I've got 3, maybe 4 of those big saws out there in the garage, ranging from 1.5 meters to about 2.5 meters. Pretty big monsters. Yeah, we had the same thing here back in probably in the mid 1800s as well. There was lots of old growth rainforest around here, and this whole area just got logged to shit.
Yeah. Those idiots just wandered in and cut everything down.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that, like, I understand that those guys were those people were all living under the economic stressors, and they were just doing what they could to survive, whatever. I get it. But still, at the same time, just the relentless, like, murdering of stuff. Have you ever seen the piles of, like, buffalo skulls? Have you ever seen that?
Not. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to the point where it was like they just went around and shot every buffalo they could see. Just, what are you guys doing? Oh, well, we need the tongue. Like, they were literally killing buffaloes for just the tongue. You're talking about like a 1,600-pound animal. I don't know what the fuck that is in metric. 8,000 tons. I don't know. I don't know how you guys measure stuff.
Just double it. A lot
of grams, chief. It was like a liter of buffalo, and it, 1,600 pounds, which is what, kilograms? So double it. Yeah. So, is it double it or half it? 2.2 kilograms to a pound. So half it. Yeah. So 800 kilograms, right? Animal. And all they did was cut the tongue out and then go shoot another one and cut the tongue out of it, because the tongue had become popular on the East Coast. So they literally were just packing up crates of tongue that, by the way, half of the time rotted by the time it actually made it all the way to the East Coast for the rich people to eat it, right? It's just a level of absurdism that is just like, well, leave the saw blades there because it's an archaeological dig site, because it's 100 years old, because my brain is broken, because I'm a fucking moron. I was breathing leaded gas the entirety of my life up until I was like 40, and then now I'm 80, and I'm just gonna yell at people because I'm ridiculous. Like, well, get off the internet, old timer. This is beyond the scope of your comprehension.
Yes, a historical site maybe, but certainly not an archaeological site.
I mean, it's a historical item, but you can't call it an archaeological site if you dig up something from 100 years ago that was discarded as trash. What's up, babe? I think I accidentally put it in Olivia's drawer. I think same. I thought it was an Olivia cup, and then I thought about it later. I was like, wow, I should take that cup out. Oh, hold on, guys. Victoria's stepping in. She wants to know where I put her cup. And then I was like, wow, I should go take that cup out of there because I don't think that's Vicky's cup. And then I think somebody farted, and I was like, oh, what's that? And I just took off and was like, forgot to do it. Your microphone's turned off right now. Would you like me to turn on your mic?
I guess.
I'll turn on your mic so you can go hot into the mic. All right, here we go.
Am I hot on the mic?
You're hot on the mic. You're so hot.
Hot to trot.
So this evening, Olivia announced my pirate name during bath time.
What is it?
Skunk Booty.
Skunk Booty.
Skunk
Yeah.
booty.
Cool. You with the Scunch Princess? You guys will fit right together. Scunch Princess and Skunk Booty.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
We be
feel a
pirates.
collaboration coming on.
The collab. The collab is coming.
Collaboration.
If you guys drop some fresh beats.
Now I just got to talk her into wearing her pink bandana and an eye patch. We're good.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
It sounds all right to me. Sounds okay. Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's where your cup is, I think.
It's in the toddler drawer.
I put it in the drawer, and like I said, I was going to get it out of there, and then I forgot.
It happens.
I think
to
you
the
were.
best
I
of
think
us.
you were yelling at me because I was farting. I don't think it was somebody else was farting. I think it was I was farting, and you were like, "What are you doing over there?" And then
Our
I forgot the
daughter
cup.
farts a lot. Like I audibly heard
Hell
her
yeah!
from
I
the
encourage.
kitchen.
I encourage her farting.
The bubbling in the bathtub.
It's the best,
It
dude.
sounded like a jacuzzi.
So rad. I have a little cute little daughter that farts super loud and then laughs about it and
Yeah.
runs off.
She thinks it's hilarious.
I think it's hilarious too.
It is.
We're in agreement.
It's pretty funny.
Here's the
actually.
deal. Here's the deal. At some point in time, she's going to be like 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And she's a little blonde bombshell. And a bunch of looky-loo dudes are going to be all sneaking around. And if she farts really loud in their face and then laughs at them, it's going to turn away one or two of them. Not all of them, but
Yeah. No. Yeah.
The only ones,
those with
the ones that will stay will be the
Yeah.
worthy ones.
Yeah, exactly. Like the ones with very little intestinal fortitude, they will run away. They'll be like, "Oh my god," because they'll be super emo. They'll have their hair down over their face, and they'll be like talking about whatever TikTok of the future is, you know.
Oh God.
And they'll be just gibbering on in garbage, you know, whatever
Garbage
weird
slang.
slang that they'll have. They'll probably be wearing Google glasses around. You Googleizing with their Google glasses.
Who knows? Who knows? I
They'll
shudder
be
to
talking
think
about augmented reality. Did you see the advertising on the side of the tower the other day? Oh my god! It was like, oh my god! And I'd be like,
wearing their
You gotta
rocket
go.
boots and stuff.
if they have rocket boots, I will straight up rob them. They will be a victim of me.
I'm sure you'll have your own rocket boots. You? Come on now.
I will start a collection
Collection.
That'll be the new trend.
of all of these boys' rocket boots.
Potentially.
Yeah. Well, either way.
Anyway, all right.
Hey, get out of here,
I
fart
hope you
lady,
enjoyed this interruption.
the fart queen.
Nice to hear your
She's
voice,
out.
love.
So yeah, it's it was an interesting situation where like those guys were like thinking it's some kind of archaeological find. It's not like you're digging up arrowheads or bones or pottery from
man.
1,000 years ago or something. It's some saw blades thrown out in the yard, which I brought up the point that I go, my house is 100 years old. Am I allowed to dig in my backyard? Because my backyard would be an archaeological dig, right? And they're like, it's not the same. And I'm like, fuck you, it's not the same. It's exactly the same. You're saying that's 100 years old. So
Yeah, I get a
people
strange
shouldn't be
feeling.
digging it up, right?
I get a strange feeling that their heels were well dug in by that stage and they weren't going to relent in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah. I just shut down the conversation. I was like, oh, I'm out of here. I have much better things to do than to talk to you morons.
Yeah, it's fun for a little while. But
It's
gets
fun for
great.
it's fun for like 20 minutes. And then it's like, I don't need to talk to some 78-year-old psycho from Hoquiam or whatever who's trying
Especially
to
once
saw
you
blades.
realize there's absolutely no potential for even slightly changing their mind.
Or even just having a reasonable conversation
Mm.
where somebody called me an F slur, somebody called me a snowflake, somebody called me whatever. I'm like, at what point would you? I mean, like if these morons met me in person, they'd be like, "That guy's a snowflake," and you're like, "What are you talking about?" It's just ridiculous. So I was like, "Whatever, I'm out of here. I gotta go." I got busy. I got super busy. Had to go.
Aquamate said back there in the chat something about your wonderful performance on the aquarium co-op ad. There's an aquarium co-op ad.
Oh yeah, I'm in the ads, bro. I'm in the ads.
Are they like ads for television or ads for the interwebs?
Internet, I think. Instagram and something else. And it'll be a video coming out fairly soon of stuff I've been working on for the co-op. So a detailed video.
Oh,
So you
speaking
guys
of
will-
videos too, I may have tentative. It's a very tentative may have. I may have procured myself some video editing software, so I might be able to make some video content soon.
Nice. I saw
Lord
today.
knows I've got-
Jared Poland was talking about how what is it? Apple Mac, yeah, they've come out with a new a small desktop computer that is designed just for video editing. Like that's its main function.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, huh. Almost interesting, but of course the base model is $2,000, and I'm like, get out of here. Fucking. And then it was like, oh, do you want the good one? It's $38.99. You're like, oh, it's $4,000. Okay.
But
Well-
you're not an Apple guy, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm a PC guy because I have to shoestring everything together. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I can't buy all the hard drives right out the gate. I have to buy them one by one as I fill them up. You know.
As far as I can tell, the your standard iMovie that comes with your Apple computers and iPhones and whatnot is a reasonably good video editing software. But
yeah,
certainly the one that comes with Windows 11 or 10, whatever one we're up to, 11, I think, is it's very, 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 very limited in its functionality. So I believe I've got my hands on another one. I will find out after this stream whether I have functioning software or not.
Yeah, I've used the I've used the Mac editing stuff before, and it's pretty intuitive. It's very easy to use. I just do not even remotely have the money to invest in that that space. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think like their tower. I think even Jared Poland was talking about it today on his YouTube channel. Was like they spent like 2 years ago. They spent like $14,000 on their Mac video editing computer, and I'm like that. You know, I spent $2,000 on my commuter truck. You know, I'm like that's 7 commuter trucks. You know, I'm like I don't. It's crazy, you know. I'm like, that's just crazy money. I don't have access to that kind of stuff. But kudos to the people that are being successful like that and can invest. That's, you know, that's going to help at least push the companies to keep making stuff. So, you know, at least we got that going for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I had to change all of my stuff over to Mac, I don't know what I would do. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah, chappy, but that $1,200 for your iMac, that's like entry level. That's like the one that Sarah got, and it's you know,
Yeah.
I think she's had it for like 2 years now or something, and already it freezes up and it just goes so slow. It's really featureless. So yeah, you've got to sort of add a few more bucks, I think, to get a reasonable machine. You know, my laptop that I've got was $1,200, and I can guarantee it performs better than a $1,200 iMac.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing.
But you know, they've got that that prestige, I guess you'd call it, in the marketplace, and that.
Well, the thing is, like, their high end
have that brand.
Well, the thing is, like, their high end stuff works really well. Right? Like there's no question about it. Like and I wouldn't be somebody who has a critique other than the cost for their high end stuff. Because their high end stuff works very, very well. But all of their entry level stuff doesn't do half of what a decent PC does. It is the interchangeability, like they only just came out with stuff that you can interchange, change around parts, if you want to add a hard drive or if you want to add this or add that. I mean, at one point, I don't know, one of the Macs came out and it had one USB port. And then it had a Thunderbolt port, which you could buy like a $4.99 adapter that had like multiple plugs to go into the what is it, Thunderbolt or whatever, and it's just, to me, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, like it's just, I don't know. It's like buying a Leica camera or something. You know what I mean? It's like my Canon does all of that and way better, and it's a tenth of the price. So, or your Sony or whatever.
Oh, look out! It started raining again. It's a good thing too. My mud was starting to get dehydrated.
Oh, your mud was starting to dry out. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was raining here. It was raining here like crazy, and it flooded the freeway while you guys were flooded. But I was like, nobody's house is underwater. Well, and at least in my neighborhood, in my neck of the woods, I know a lot of people's houses get floodwaters here, but that's every year. Those same people get the floodwaters, so they're kind of just ready for it. They're like, it's going to flood again. Okay. For some reason, they just put up with it. I don't know why.
That's an interesting note that Huawei's popped in because, I don't think I have been burping. I have burped a few times, but certainly hasn't been as regular as the clockwork that it normally is.
Oh, you're always burping. I just assume that you're just always burping,
I am. Yeah, I wonder what's changed that I'm not hitting it with the frequency that I generally do. Maybe because 20 minutes before starting, I actually ate some food.
Uh-huh.
Because I was a bit concerned that the sounds emanating from my stomach region may have been audible on the microphone.
Throwing some people off.
I was doing all those ones and getting the twisty guts feelings, and I thought, I better put some food in there before I put liquor in there. I did have a beer before I ate, though.
Well, it's a good warm up.
Every time I come home from the shops, I'm all hot and sweaty, and beer just seems really, really appropriate.
Oh yeah, well.
But good times. Anyway, I'll try and work on those burps for you, Huawei. What else are we talking about?
What are these guys going to do? The housing market's a fucking disaster. It's just absolute mayhem right now. Trying to buy a house is just like a punch in the
housing market.
Yeah, it's like a punch in the throat. Which I know you don't care because your place was just flooding and that's on your mind. But trying to buy a house is a nightmare. It's nightmare fuel. Yeah,
I have a strange feeling that, these floods aren't going to get smaller. We're going to see bigger ones still. So potentially in the near future, my room may go underwater. It's at the ground level to the rest of the driveway and stuff. Thankfully, the house is another foot above, maybe 15 inches above ground level.
Yeah.
But I did the mad scramble and lifted all my valuables off the floor. I did leave my subwoofer. It's on ground level, but I figured if water was coming in, I'd have just enough time to get the subwoofer up off the ground.
Right.
Because I didn't want to unnecessarily have to get in behind it and disconnect cables and whatnot. It's quite a mission to get in there.
What a nightmare. That is a bummer. I want to tell you about these two houses that I'm trying to buy.
Right.
Both of these sellers are being dickheads, and they think that their houses are worth way more than they actually are. But I don't think that they realize who they're messing with. when the fact that I have much more ability to be a jerk to them than they do to me. Because I literally am just like, well, good on you. See you later.
Well, I do. I assume that it's
Have a good time
similar.
over there.
I assume that it's a similar situation over there. That it is a seller's market at the moment, so they can kind of, if they're not needing money instantly, they can sit back and wait for it. Brookley
it's
Bell,
the
thanks
same.
for hanging out. We'll see you soon, eh? Be good. So how far away are you looking now? Still in your town?
Well, right now we live in the south end, so we live south of Seattle, and we're looking north of Seattle.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that would be the best way to describe it, so that you would understand. Oh, we're going to move past up north of Seattle as opposed to south of Seattle.
Maybe like 30 or 40 miles away, something like that. Or is it even further?
What's that?
Is it even further than that away?
Then what?
30 or 40 miles?
Yeah, it's like 30 miles.
The
Yeah.
north from the south.
Mm-hmm. Well, we live, 30 something, 38 miles.
Take it easy, Chappie.
south.
We'll see you soon, man. Good to see you in, brother.
Chappie's got to go. I don't know. We live like 38 miles or something south of Seattle. And then I think we'll probably move like 30 miles north of Seattle, something like that. So, yeah.
G'day, Chewy.
Yeah.
Long time no see, Blake.
It really won't matter to you. It'll be like the same, as far as you're concerned. It's just an imaginary mark on a map to you because you're like, I don't even know.
Chewy's asking if you were born before 1981.
Who?
Chewy.
Why?
Lunatic Fringe. I don't know.
Yeah, I was. Why? Why? What do you want to know? What do you want?
Next, he wants your credit card numbers. Purely curiosity, it would seem. Yeah, what are you? You were 77 or 78, weren't you?
I'm not going to be specific now. Now that people want to know, I'm not going to say.
Let's just say he's a few years younger than me. Look at the fucking paranoia set in. Oh, it looks like Chewy's slinging a guess out there. 1980, Mount St. Helens.
Yeah, I remember that.
What's that a reference to?
Mount St. Helens blew up, man. You don't remember that?
Huh?
Mount St. Helens blew up.
Ah, right.
A mountain exploded. And it sent ash all around the planet.
Righto, Mickham, thanks for hanging out. Have a good lurk.
I can see Mount Rainier from my porch. And Mount St. Helens is just too far south to see. Plus, the top of it blew off, so you can't see it because the top's missing. But I can drive down there. I used to drive down to Mount St. Helens and go run around the crater. So at maximum capacity speed so that I could be skinnier than fat.
We have a it's not really a mountain, but it's like a high point of land local here called St. Helena.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
How
sure
big
if
is
it's
it?
based off.
Is it
It's
big?
not very big. No, it's not.
Hmm.
I don't think it classes as a mountain. It's more of a hill.
Ah, it's like a large hill.
Yeah. But yeah, it's quite a sudden uprising too. It's like this big hill that's just in the middle of not much other hill action. It's just inland from Byron Bay. So as you're travelling down the road on St Helena, you get lovely views of the most easterly point of Australia.
Yeah, I can
without
see.
having to endure the tourists and whatnot.
I can see Mount Rainier from my porch, and it is 14,411 feet tall.
Does it rain a lot up there?
It fucking snows up there, dog. What are you talking about?
Does it rain? Does it rain a lot up there? Because it's rainier.
It has permanent snow on its head. It has snow all the time. It has a glacier on top.
I always wondered that about Prince Rainier of Monaco. I think he's from whether he cried a lot more than other princes because he was rainier.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get a oh dear God. Just save image. Here we go. Don't save it there, you stupid computer. Save it over here. This file. There we go. Where's my software? Where's my software, dude?
Has it gone limp?
My software's gone limp, bros. Here you go. This is what like Mount Rainier looks like.
That's bloody blue skies. It's not even raining.
Look
It's
at
quite
it.
pretty though.
Look at that. Look at that something. Can I make this full screen? Is this possible? Thank you. There we go. Oh, I didn't make it full screen. I was moving it around to disorient people so they could be disoriented. But yeah, you can go up and do some mad hikes around here in the greenery, and you can go up to the top if you want. You get a little winded going up there, just so you know. Just as a heads up.
Yeah, I think my
you're gonna get winded, bruh. By the way, I named myself just so you would know it wasn't me.
Yeah, I had to put us on this view before so I could read the entirety of it.
Just so you know, it wasn't me, bro.
But then I realized when I put us on that view, you do get a little bit of a view of my unmade bed in the background. And goodness me, I don't need the stigma of being that guy who doesn't make his bed.
Kinky. Jordan Peterson's going to yell at you in the Kermit the Frog voice.
And who else? Joe Coy. Comedian Joe Coy.
Joe Coy will yell at you. He's from Seattle.
He tells stories about how his dad was a military man, and he says, clean room, clean mind. If you don't make your bed, you're going to be scattered for the whole day. So,
oh yeah, you really are. You really are. It's like, if you don't make your bed, your whole life's just going to be screwed. You're just going to be screwed.
Look at me. It's been a long time. I only make my bed when I've cleaned the linen. That's when I make my bed. I love arranging my blankets on top of myself overnight instead of peeling them back and climbing under them. Even though most of the time I just need a sheet, even in winter.
Lunatic Fringe. I have also climbed up Mount St. Helens. It's a pretty easy one. Since the top blew off, it's pretty easy. Takes like if you go up to the observation place, I think it takes probably about 3 hours, 4 hours to go up to the top and back. It's not that big of a deal. I will say this: we went up Mount Dickerman, which is just the funniest name.
Quality.
I think that's only like 6,000 feet, but you start at the bottom, and that was harder than the Mount St. Helens stuff because you spend a long time hiking because you just hike and hike and hike, and then it's like a slow. You're just going uphill forever, and then it's like, boom, you're going up, and yeah, we got up to the top there, and it was like, dude, I'm chilling for a little bit before I go back down. But it's super funny. Like one of the things that's hilarious about the Cascades Mountains out here is that we have so much cell phone signal that when you're you're just out in wilderness and you like lose cell phone signal, right? And you're hiking. You get up to the top of a mountain, all of a sudden you get full 5G, like, it's just, I have to admit, it's one of the funniest things to call people and they'd be like, "Where are you at?" And it's like, "I'm at the top of a mountain somewhere. I don't know where the hell I am, but just calling you back, bro. What's up?" Like, you got
Line
about
of
10
sight's
minutes
a
before I
bonus.
start going back down. So it's pretty funny. It's pretty comical with that.
Blacky
Nipple
doesn't
top.
want to make his bed because he doesn't want us to see the anime body pillow he sleeps with.
True facts. Oh, Lunatic Fringe used to climb. You know what? I used to climb a lot when I was younger. A lot of sport climbing and stuff like that. And I definitely want to get back into it because I'm getting fat and less limber, I guess. And also I want to start teaching Olivia and be able to like go to the climbing gym with Olivia as she's getting older here. She's not quite to the point yet where she could really do very much, but we go to the park with the little kid climbing gym, and she does okay with the kid handhold stuff, and she's learning. But
It's a
I
good
think
place
by the
to
time
start.
she's like 4.5 or something, I think she'll start to spider monkey up stuff, which is just hilarious when little kids get good at climbing. It's another reason. It's another reason that we want to move to another place. I want to build a climbing wall.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Good physical fitness.
Yeah,
I had to Google up Crypt Keeper's nipple top mountain, and indeed it does seem to have a nipple at the right angles.
Fly out to New York and go up a couple of the mountains out there. They're only like I think New York tops out at like 5,000 feet or something like that. I think. What's the fuck? What the hell is this? No, I hate it when people add that stuff to their website where it's like some robot starts messaging you like, "Hey, do you want to chat about? Do you want to chat about boat bottoms?" You're like, "No, get out of here, robot."
Nipple top is 4,610 feet.
5,300. 5,300 is the highest peak in New York State. Although Giant Mountain is 4,600 feet. Doesn't seem very giant. I feel like I could just go up there. Yeah, I forget how many peaks there are in Washington. I think there's something like 500. I don't know what the hell. How many mapped? I forget what it is. I have to find it. List in Washington State. I have it somewhere. I have it saved on one of our climbing apps. All of the mountains that we've, all of the peaks that we've done. Yeah, so there's 200 peaks, 400 peaks, 500 peaks. I think there's around 500 like mapped peaks in Washington State. No, one of the most mountainous states in the country. Washington is home to 3,167 named mountains, which is a lot. That's how many mountains we have here.
What? You?
3,167, which I think there's between like 500 and 600 that are actual like mapped, named, that you actually have routes on and stuff. And I want to do all of them before I die. It's definitely slowed down since COVID hit to be able to like go do any peaks and stuff like that, because they closed all the parking lots and things like that, which was just
right.
You're like, what the fuck? Like, how is this spreading COVID? Like, what? Just go park my car in the damn woods so I can go hiking. You're like, fuck, all right. I'm not parking it on the freeway. It's gonna get robbed.
I'll tell you, that was one one benefit from the flooding was people shut the fuck up about COVID for a little while.
They probably just shut up about it for a hot minute there.
It became, the daily announcements of infections and whatnot certainly slipped down the order of the news.
Yeah.
For a week or two.
Yeah, where's let me see if I can't find I forget how high Mount St. Helens is now that it's blown up.
Yeah, what were the kids in the chat before were saying something that
I think it's only like 6,000 feet or something like that.
Scotty was saying you can't go to the top, it's a trap.
Oh, that's
That
Mount Rainier.
Mountain,
is what he was saying.
Fake news. Oh,
right. He was saying that it's a trap up at the top. Yeah. Oh, the elevation is 8,300 for Mount St. Helens. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's also not like super crazy, especially in the summertime. So, because it gets snowless in the summertime. I don't think it has any permanent ice on it, if I recall. Yeah, there's a bunch on here. There's a bunch on this list I haven't done yet, and I'm looking at them now. So I'm gonna stop looking at them because I'm like super distracted.
You're gonna get toey for a climb.
Super distracted. Oh yeah, baby. Are you excited for Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan?
Yeah, I am. That's gonna be pretty intense. Well, how far away are we? It's not far now, is it?
It's not far. I think. Were they doing it May? Is it May?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. May 25
Obi-Wan.
or something.
May 25. May 25.
May 25, yeah.
They should have just done it on May the 4th. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I was listening to a discussion yesterday about that, and apparently Disney has some other commitment on May the 4th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was now. I was probably a little bit tipsy or something when I was listening to the discussion. Yeah, there's some other commitment they've got, so they're not releasing any Star Wars stuff that day. They're doing this other thing that they already committed to.
Oh, is it Moon Knight?
I don't know. Doesn't ring a bell. Doesn't make me feel like I remember.
Yeah, Moon Knight. It's Moon Knight. Because Moon Knight release starts March.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Moon Knight. That's
March 30th.
Another Marvel one, isn't it?
Yeah, 6-episode series, which is cool. I'm pretty excited for that because Stacy, who's one of my super nerd comic friends, we saw the trailer for that when we went to some movie, and we're like, oh my god, really? What? And we thought it was going to be a movie, but now I'm realizing that it's going to be a series, which is actually kind of cooler, I think. Hopefully.
Yes. Brett was describing it to me and saying,
the season
gritty noir style with lots of violence.
The series finale is on May the 4th. So, yeah, that answers it.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. What I'm also terribly excited for is this weekend coming is the start of the new Formula One season as well.
Oh, yeah.
I know BJ Palmer will be itching to have a look at that as well. After the debacle, or not really a debacle, after the season of a century last year, and new cars and all sorts of wild stuff this year, it's going to be super interesting to be there every minute of Formula One this year. G'day, M&C. How's it going? Yes, it'll be good times again in the Formula One, and really interesting to see how these new cars go and how all the drivers settle in with new vehicles.
Aren't they doing the hybrids now? They're like half gas, half electric.
They're already on hybrids, and I haven't really looked. I mean, I did read something quite a while ago about what the changes were going to be. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure right now what it is, but yeah, they've been doing the hybrid ones for 2 or 3 years now,
Yeah.
which is interesting because the recharging of your battery and that it all becomes part of the strategy within the race and whatnot, because certain
Hmm.
things you do to your car while you're driving can charge your battery up and alter your strategies.
True.
But yeah, no doubt in the when a season starts, they will start the season with hours and hours of chatter and talking about what the changes are. So I probably won't have to go and read that much. I'll find out about it in the chit chat before the racing and the practicing begins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might just do that and wait and just feel like the normal people who just listen to what the commentators tell us.
Hey, I'm going to advertise my YouTube channel. Hey, S is a member in my chat. S from the chat here is a member on my channel. If you want to become a member on my channel, there's a join button there. Dr. Black is not monetized, so he can't tell you to join his channel. But you could join my channel, and if we could find that GoFundMe, I'll be promoting that.
Yeah, I haven't.
Sick burn. But if you haven't subscribed
Sarah
to
before
the Dr.
remind
Black
her.
66 YouTube channel, you have to. It's required by law.
Law. I fucking
It's the
pushed the mute
law.
button, you prick.
What?
I pushed the mute button on an ad that popped up on my telephone,
Oh.
but it still played the noises at me. So dubious and deceitful. Yeah, well, M&C, I've also just finished the Drive to Survive, the Formula One show on Netflix. They released a new season of that, which was basically covering all of last season. And last season really was the best Formula One season for a long time. So much controversy and so much drama and loveliness. By all means, if you haven't watched Formula One for a while, go and watch the Drive to Survive Formula One show on Netflix. It's pretty good. It's chock full of drama and romance and intrigue and nastiness, all the things you want from a human experience. But yeah, definitely a good way to, certainly watching the most recent one, talking about last year's season, will certainly catch you up on all the drama and stuff before the season begins. Yeah, I smashed through that in maybe 2 days, all 10 episodes in 2 days, with a little bit of cricket in between, a little bit of Last Kingdom in between as well.
The damn Viking show keeps popping up, huh?
It could be. You could call it a Saxon show.
What's that?
Huh?
What?
I said you could call it a Saxon show because it was, the Saxons being invaded by Vikings, by Danes.
That's true. It's true.
I think it's funny how they always refer to them as the Danes. They never really call them Vikings. It's always the Danes.
Yeah, it's the Danes. They're different. They're the other Vikings.
Mm.
The boatmen.
And Vikings Valhalla. I think is that the one that deals with Canute? Or was he in the last bit of normal Vikings? 100 years before Vikings Valhalla. I can't remember either, but yeah. Canute was an interesting character in history because he was a Dane king as well, who became king of England for a little while.
Oh.
But in the Vikings show, based on my studies of history, I think they got the Canute timings a little bit wrong.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I want to look back into that and research a bit more thoroughly. Yeah, they're just saying, sure, it's not a documentary. It's a historical, whatever they call it, historical drama. They've got to fill in all the blanks and stuff, but sometimes they don't follow the appropriate timelines and whatnot as well. Oh, what was his dog called, GRB? Didn't he have a pet dog as well? Or did he have kids? Maybe he had kids instead of a dog. I'm gonna go and do a wee and get a drink. Do you want me to play some music or just let you yammer on?
Oh, should I plug my YouTube channel? Have you guys ever been to YouTube before? Oh my god, come over to my YouTube channel and click the
what's a
like
YouTube?
button and then subscribe super hard. And then, oh my god, show up on Mondays and Fridays where I do a live show. On Fridays, I have a guest named Alyssa Bentley. Alyssa Bentley. We generally talk about aquarium stuff, but we also talk about whatever, because that's the style of podcasting that I do. Just going crazy talking about whatever it is that people want to talk about in the chat. So it's same vibe, same thing, different thing. But if that's something that you're into, you could spin by and check it out if you like. Or you could start your own podcast and then email me about it and tell me that I should watch it. You know? You know what I mean? Then once you've told me to watch it, I'll be like, well, I can't tell you that I did watch it because I might be fibbing if I told you I watched your podcast, because I might not have. But that's just how it goes sometimes. I'm being heavily distracted right now by this thing telling me that something is available that I was trying to order. Some batteries for my tools for working. Those of you that don't know me, I do a lot of planted tank aquarium stuff. I also do the building and some filming and some stuff with the aquarium co-op. If you guys are familiar with the aquarium co-op, I'm the guy that builds their stuff. That's me. Also traveled to Peru, Germany, other places with them to film and do fish related things, and we're always doing something fish related with the aquarium co-op, which is definitely helps stave off my desire for doing insane projects on my own, because I'm doing insane projects for other people. So
you should change your channel name to Corvus Stuff Builder. It sounds more Viking that way.
I do have some other test channels, which I don't ever tell anybody about because they get tainted with people that follow my YouTube channel that just will just go subscribe to it and then,
and go, where's the fish stuff?
Yeah, and then go like, where's the fish stuff? And it's like, well, this channel doesn't have. All right, I have some political channels and some other things too. So it's one of those things. But as much as I would love to just be building and making YouTube videos about building, we're just not there. I need more people to become members and stuff so I could actually afford to do that. I don't know if you guys know this, but bootstrapping yourself to being a video production company or whatever is incredibly difficult. It is you got to get over the hump, and you have to have enough people willing to contribute to doing those projects. And you know what? I've never been one of those guys that ever made something that went completely viral and able to jump on that bandwagon from that aspect. So I do have a bunch of people that are supporting like $1 a month and that kind of stuff, and I appreciate it wholeheartedly, and do my best to make stuff. Currently still in the whole testing phase of making different content that doesn't suck balls, you know what I mean?
Also on that note, if you do like YouTube channels and you do like seeing people point firearms at things, Alien World Aquatics, he's got a second channel now, which is Alien World Airsoft, where he
nice.
shows you runs through his backyard target course and whatnot, shooting his airsoft guns. They seem quite fun. I knew I forgot to mention that before, so I had to bring it in at a seemingly appropriate time, even if it wasn't.
Hell yeah, why not?
Appropriate. I don't condone the use of firearms, but by crikey, they're fun.
S says I don't want to reveal my secret Minecraft channel. True. But you could come on my Minecraft server if you want. And you could come play. Yeah. If you become a member and stuff. Which you don't even have to be a member to play on the Minecraft server now. It's open to the public. You guys anybody can come play.
Whoa.
If you want. And then you could chat with me in the Minecraft chat, I guess. But most of the people that play on the server are members and stuff because we can all hop into an audio group chat via Discord.
Of course.
Which is great because you can really F around pretty hard on the Minecraft server when everybody can just hear each other. You know, it's pretty fun.
I know a lot of you people are watching this on the YouTube because that's where it's broadcasting, but I don't have YouTube open. And speaking of channels and whatnot, just reminded me that I haven't looked at my subscriber count for a while. Can someone please inform me where my subscribers are at, number-wise? I can get a geographical location map anytime if I want to find out where you're at. Yeah, I just wonder if I'm still above 750. 760. Thanks, S. No worries.
760. Yep.
Oh, Huawei says 757 though. three people unsubscribed in less than a minute.
Uh-oh.
Just because I was asking about my subscribers.
No, I don't know. It says 760 for me, so I don't know.
1160. I wish, Joe Stan, and welcome, Joe Stan. 1160 would be tops.
Yeah, we got to try to get you over 1,000. I just don't even know how that's ever going to happen.
Well, I think we have come to the realization in the past that the only way I'm going to continue to grow subscribers is by making edited content. And like I did say, I have potentially procured myself some editing software, and I do have a camera full of at least 2 or 3 videos worth of stuff at the minute. Foolishly, I didn't do any filming when I got the 3-week shrimp out yesterday when they arrived. I was
right,
obviously just going, fuck, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of dead shrimp. Don't necessarily want to film that, but now that I have live ones after 3 weeks in the bag, yeah, potentially I should have done a little bit of filming. Always hard though when you're trying to operate a camera and do jobs that require both hands.
Yeah, therein lies the problem.
Is it the plop and drop or is it the flop and drop?
Plop
when
and
you
drop.
Cut the back. Flop.
Plop.
Plop and drop. Plop and drop, I just said, but I didn't pronounce the
Plop
C
and drop.
K, thankfully.
Plop and drop?
Yeah.
Plop and drop.
Ah, right. I was wondering what you were coming for.
Who?
Get a few?
What?
They look so big and scary.
I know. I hate grasshoppers too. My son, Apart.
Is that your boy?
One of my boys has raided the veggie garden for grasshoppers for their blue tongues.
Huh. Okay.
Now, another boy entering the premises. Why'd you get leaves as well for them? Yeah, there's so many out there in the grapevine. Yes, take a fishnet. That's what I do to grab them because Nah, they'll smash them.
I'm mainly trying to get grasshoppers to feed to the babies.
Yeah, right. You use the fishnet if you like, because I hate grabbing them too, so I just use the fishnet.
Oh, S was wondering if Mojang has
Nugs, say hi to everyone.
recovery. Oh my god, it's the boy.
Hello.
That's my oldest boy, Nugget.
This is the oldest Nugget.
Alright, cheers to that. Do you need anything on it
Yes. Can you go to Bunnings?
Yeah.
Can you see if they've got a bag of blue metal gravel for drainage.
Yeah, can you just send me that? So I don't forget.
Oh, okay.
Or like a photo on. Go to Bunnings,
What?
find it you want. Send us a photo of that. Alright.
Fucking hell.
What?
just a bag of gravel, mate, from the garden section. Well, yeah. Wild.
We're trying to overcomplicate the task.
Yeah, it's true. I probably did. I should have just said bag of gravel, thanks.
Bag of gravel, chief. You call him sport. Listen here,
I
sport.
don't even know why they call it blue metal. It's not made of metal, is it?
S was wondering if Mojang has account recovery. Yeah, they do. Because of the whole Microsoft integration stuff, it's actually pretty easy to get your account figured out when you have lost it. Because a lot of people couldn't figure out their account. So, yes, the answer to that question. And Joseph was wondering, I was a member to play, but now I don't have to. Yeah, it was. So the Minecraft server was for members only while we went through the whole testing and trying to figure out if we could actually just do it or not. And then we got to the point where we were good to go. So now it's just open. You just have to get whitelisted to come on it. So pretty easy. You know, we just want to verify that you're a person and not a robot. Not a robot. Free delivery Saturday. What's up with that?
Did you get some kind of resemblance, Huawei, or what?
What up with that? What?
Huawei says Blacky Jr. Well, I don't know if he's talking about resemblance or just that one of the youngers was on camera. Because that one doesn't look like me much. This one does.
Junior?
Much, I said. No, hang on, I can. It's because I've got the virtual blur background on, so anything that comes in.
This thing's got some pressure to it when it jumps. It's scary.
I hate them. They're scary.
What?
Big ass grasshoppers. I've got them going rampant through the veggie garden at the moment. So I suggested that the boys come up and catch a whole bunch of them to feed to their blue tongues.
Boys!
Kill two birds with one stone, you know.
Boys!
Get two birds that's stoned at once, he says. Righto, catch you later on. Two points are 2 flats and a packet of gravel. You might have to explain that one, GRB. I don't know if I'm being a bit slow or what.
Brutal.
I'm going to just I'll see if I can talk and Google at the same time, but I am going to look up gravel at Bunnings so I can send the lad a picture of it. Because I've got my brother's here for a visit as well for his birthday and my mum's birthday the other day, or yesterday mum's 80th birthday was.
Mm-hmm.
And last week my brother's 50th birthday was, so we had a combined birthday party for them on Saturday.
I'll be right back.
So while he's up here visiting, and even though he's a little bit older than me, he's much more physically capable than I am at the hard labour stuff at the moment. So I'm going to use his physical form to get the hole dug to install this bloody new clothesline that I've had waiting for 3 months now, and the old clothesline supported by ropes into trees to still be usable. I've been very slack just because I had to dig a hole and my back's sore. Exactly, Alyssa. Get 2 birds stoned at once. Get rid of my grasshoppers, even though I only took 2. And feed those bloody lizard. The stoning scene in... yes, right. Yeah, well done. I'm normally good with my remembering of Monty Python lines, but that one went over my head. And beards. Good old beards. You had to buy a fake beard to be able to do a stoning. No, I want Bunnings, you dickheads. It's funny when you search a specific store in Google looking for a specific thing, and then you get this row of ads in your search results that aren't even from the store that you're looking for. Dickheads. Gravel. Is it called gravel in the States, or do you call it blue metal too? Search for gravel and the first thing that comes up is a pair of work boots. Go figure. $10 to $20 mil drainage gravel. Yeah, that'll bloody do. Screenshot. Can send it. Pea gravel. No, I need bigger than that. S. Bigger than pea gravel. I need between 10 and 20 mils. So, the tiny little gravel, when it's in a drainage pit, just gets too clogged up. There's not enough space between the stones and whatnot, so you need a slightly larger gravel for proper drainage, I believe. I could be wrong, but that's the way I believe it. Gravel. Such a good word, isn't it?
Gravel.
Yeah, it's almost onomatopoeic.
Oh my God, this house sold for less than list price. Oh my God, what happened?
Was that the jerk one?
Ooh. No, it was a different house. Oh, this one sold for a lot.
A lot more than list price?
110,000 over. 110,000 extra dollars over the list price.
Wouldn't it be a nice feeling to have that much spare money just sitting in your hip pocket?
Sure. Yeah. Just jangling around, you know?
Well, it's they obviously had more than that wiggle room.
Yeah. They were going crazy. Yeah, some of these places have just sold for just crazy prices, you know. It's just ridiculous, you know. It's a crazy time right now.
Yeah, Lisa, we've got a couple of landscaping supply places about the joint. Potentially tomorrow morning, that was going to be my job, to go to one of those places and just get a large bucket full of road metal, whatever you want to call it, gravel. But then, you know, opportunity knocks. Seldom knocks twice, so you've got to answer it the first time. So when the boy said, "Do you want anything?" I mean, he's using my car. Hope he doesn't want me to reimburse him the $8 for a bag of gravel.
The boy? The nugget?
Nug. He needed to use my car to go up to the nearest, what do they call it now? Transport authority or some nonsense. The people who do licensing and registration and all that for your motor vehicles. He had to go up there, and that's, you know, it's right near where there's a big Bunnings warehouse that's like your Lowe's or your big hardware stores that you've got over there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he can use my car and save me a drive in the morning, because tomorrow will be the last chance I have to get my brother to dig that hole for me.
Oh.
You got to plan these things out appropriately, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. You got to plan that out, dude.
M&C, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you soon, eh? Take it easy.
Sounds good.
And Alyssa, I assume that's what you mean by a rock yard, as in a joint that sells rocks to people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, it's raining again and the sun's out. That's random for this recent turn of events.
That's a special one right there. I mean, as long as your mud doesn't get all dehydrated.
Yeah, I had we had quite a few people here yesterday because it was Mum's actual birthday yesterday. So we had some of the people who didn't make it on Saturday here yesterday, and one of them was my my great nephew. And yeah, he was taking great delight in all of the mud that was about the place.
Yeah. Making a mess, going
making
big.
a mess. Loving the consistency that the little anthills in the yard turned into when he stomped them flat in the wet. And he did some quite good work with some toy trucks down the side of the driveway, because there's a little mud. The lawnmower man was here last week, and he does quite nice edges and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the young fella was driving his cars in the little rut beside the driveway and carved a really nice edge for old mate to work with in the future. Time will tell. DPS. What's DPS, Joseph? Or is that your licenses and whatnot?
I don't even think we want to know.
That's DPs. Okay, everyone loves a bit of DPs. Yeah, our licensing mob has changed their name about 5 times in the last 10 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a bit stupid. They used to just be called the Department of Main Roads, DMR, easy. And then it was Transport Authority or Roads and Traffic New South Wales. So many different stupid names.
Oh.
Now they just call it Service New South Wales because they've incorporated a whole bunch of different things into the one office. Good old public service streamlining. Department of Public Safety, right.
Right. The Department of Public Safety Department. We generally have the Department of Transportation, but it's like generally per state, you know, so ours is like Washington DOT.
And is that equivalent to the Department of Motor Vehicles? No,
the DMV is where you get your license.
Yeah, right.
And documents and license plates and all that crap. And then you have the DOT, which is the Department of Transportation, which those are the guys that all work on the roads and stuff, basically.
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's the differentiation here. Is like you got Department of Transportation, that's all the roads and weirdos. And Department of Motor Vehicles is where you got to go get your license and crap. Paperwork.
Yeah,
documents.
every time I hear DMV in conversation, it immediately takes me to that Primus song. Trapped in the DMV or something. I can't remember what its actual title is. Good Primus song, though. There's not many not good Primus songs.
There's not very many good Primus songs. Are you kidding me?
No, there's not very many not good Primus songs.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Good. I was like, what?
Yeah. Who do you think you're talking to here?
Yeah. Les Claypool, my man.
What a unit.
Far better than Geddy Lee, I'll tell you that much.
That's an argument you could start. But yeah, I tend to agree. What a wild character.
Hey, look, Geddy Lee was good. I'm just saying, Les Claypool is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He revolutionized a bunch of stuff. Not
Yeah,
only on the bass
revolutionized
guitar,
a bunch
but
of things. Revolutionized a bunch of things. He's far more creative. You know.
and he gets away with sounding like that on so many records.
Oh yeah.
He deserves bloody entry into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just for getting away with singing his style of vocals on so many records and still selling enough records
and people liking it. You know?
Well, there was even there was an Australian band that from local to here, from very, very heavily flood affected Lismore, just 50 kilometers away, Australian band called Cartoon. Very, very much so emulated the Primus sound, and they had a couple of records which were pretty decent.
Yeah.
Sheep in Stockings, great song. Joel G might like that song.
What was the name of the band?
Cartoon, like a cartoon on Saturday morning.
Okay. Wonder if they have, what was it? Sheep in sheep's clothing?
Sheep in stockings. And I'm assuming they're talking like fishnets, not the ones that you hang at the fireplace at Christmas time.
Oh, I don't think it's something that you can look up. This is weird.
Might be so under the radar.
Might be so under the radar.
Who's Alex Chewy? Was Alex a member of Geddy Lee's band? Bloody hell, I can't even remember. Rush. Was it Rush? Was that his band? No. Bloody hell. Yeah, they sort of did pick up the pace a bit there, Huawei. I'm getting a few out now. It's good. Yeah, Geddy Lee was Rush, right? Someone's got to confirm that, otherwise I'm going to go nuts. Yeah, Rush. And Alex was what? The guitar player? Or the drummer? Or the bass player? No, Geddy Lee was the bass player. Fucking idiot. Oh, Alex Lifeson. Yeah, he was the guitar player. Yeah, of course, right.
Oh, there we go. Found it.
You found some Cartoon?
I did.
Yeah, they're pretty fun. But yeah, you know, they certainly don't try and disguise the fact that they're very, 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 very heavily influenced by Primus, including the voice. You don't just happen across a sound like that randomly, I guess. Or is that a Cartoon video that you've linked there?
Yeah.
Damn it, you can't just copy and paste text from StreamYard. Dang it.
Yeah, this is very much just making other Primus tracks.
Yeah, they're the unwritten Primus songs. But yeah, Sheep in Stockings was a good fun song. I think it loosely alluded to having sex with farm animals of a sort.
I think so.
Unless sheep was a euphemism for something else.
Could be.
Oh, did Neil Peart die? When did he die?
Yeah, a little while ago.
He was the drummer, right? Am I getting this right?
Yep. Yeah, I've watched lots of Neil Peart educational drumming stuff, you know.
Oh, actually, yeah. Now there was a video that I watched the other day where a dude, it took him like 5 or 6 years to do, but he was a fan of Neil Peart, and he did a computer animation of one song of just Neil playing the drums to that song.
Uh-huh.
That was a pretty interesting video. He pretty much nailed it. Good fun. Good fun. But we've all got to die sometime, I guess. And Geddy Lee's making beer, so he's not going to die. He's going to live forever. In a bottle.
Yeah, what's it with those old rock stars deciding to make like making wine and beer and stuff. Like,
Maynard.
what's that
Maynard's
all about?
got like 3 vineyards or something now, doesn't he? He's going nuts on it.
It's got quite a bit, a couple restaurants and stuff. Yeah. You know, if you have endless money, you just go do stuff. It's fine.
Well, I
know?
guess it's the sensible people that, you know, come out of a career in music or acting or other things that make them a shit ton of money in real quick time. It's the sensible ones that, you know, invest that money back into something else instead of just, you know, disappearing that money in no time for no return.
Well, you know, I don't know if like restaurants are a good investment for anybody, but I think it's more about finding, you know, like additional things that hobbies that you're passionate about or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And you've got the financial wherewithal to be able to do that.
yeah, and you know, because it's like, especially like if you're writing music, music's like a perfect example of like you have to be kind of expanding your sort of knowledge of the world, right? Like experience stuff. And it's always one of the big issues that every band has, that like they get a big record and then they go on tour for a year and a half and then they're supposed to come back and like write another record,
Make a new one.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the only thing that they've been doing experience wise is like touring
The same 15 songs for 12
the
months.
the same 15 songs, getting drunk, riding on a bus, sleeping with groupies. Like, while I'm sure, you know, in reality, it's not like the worst to have experienced that or whatever, but like it really doesn't lend itself to like the creative music process. It's one of those things. It's like the touring is the death of the next record, you know.
Yeah.
Because
a
you
double-edged
know,
sword.
yeah, you know, you just think like, you know, imagine going to work like 16 hours a day for a year and a half, doing the same thing, and then somebody be like, okay, make something creative now, and you're like, dude, I'm exhausted. Like, I've been literally working in the widget factory here for a year and a half, you know. So you know, it's really one of those things like, so like Mastodon's a really big band now, and you know, some people have been asking them like, how are they able to come up with new records? And it's one of those things that like they tour for like 3 months and then they stay home for a year, you know, because
Yeah,
they
that
used to
seems
go
like
on they used to go on that crazy tour schedule where you're just touring forever. And then you come back and you have no energy to write a record. You have like nothing going on. You haven't seen your family in a year and a half, and now you're supposed to go hang out in the studio. You know, like it's just a mess. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a much better way to do it is have a few months off when you get off tour and get your head back into the right space.
Well, it's the issue is that like it takes a couple of months to just wind down from having done that,
Yeah,
and
true.
then you got to go do something. You know, like you have to go do some stuff. You have to do something that isn't writing music in order to like essentially get you know, to get into some kind of creative mind space to like write a new song or new songs or whatever,
Yeah,
you know.
essentially, probably you'd want to be doing something that's as removed from music as possible.
Right. So it's like so that you have some kind of opinion on something that's going on, you
Yeah.
know, something that's going on. Otherwise you're just like, what are you going to write songs about touring, you know? Like, it's just, that's not very good, you know. And like most of the guitar and most of the guitar guys can kind of like stack licks and stuff like while they're on tour, because you know, like warming up and riding on whatever, you kind of get your guitar out and like kind of plunk around and sort of save, you know, stuff you're coming up with while you're on tour or whatever. But like you can't really apply that to the actual songwriting process realistically. But you know, But what do I know? I'm not a rock star, so it's all secondhand, you know.
Portnoy's got a drum fill named after him. Huawei. Asking of Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater.
Yeah,
there's the
familiar.
Portnoy fill that he's made famous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's very, very difficult if you like drummers. Very, very difficult not to enjoy El Estepario Sabiriano.
Dude, I love that guy.
He
That
is
guy is
such
awesome.
an amazing drummer.
Yep.
And I've actually just queued up. He's just released today, I think, a drum cover of Slipknot's song "Sick," and I love that Slipknot song, so I'm super keen to have a look at that. I also earlier today I watched a video. Is there somewhere on YouTube where you can actually see videos that you have watched? I'm so bad at YouTube because I watched it already and I can't remember the dude's name.
It should be, it should be the library button. If you hit the library button, it'll show you what you've watched.
Beautiful, yeah. 66 Samus. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a pretty good drummer as well.
Mm-hmm. He plays drumming. He played on Devin Townsend tracks and stuff, which is pretty much like, hey, if Devin Townsend gives you the thumbs up, you're doing pretty good.
Well, he's I think that Samus is, like, everyone swears by Gene Hoglan as a great metal drummer, but I think Samus is better than Hoglan. I think Hoglan's overrated. But yeah, he did a video reacting to Grayson Necrutman, who's this, I think he's a German drummer, or he's somewhere from over that side of the planet. And he does this just this amazing playing along to the old jazz song Caravan. I don't think it's that old, probably 70s or something.
Yeah, Caravan's a dope song. It's fantastic.
Samus, you can't talk on my channel, Samus. That was pretty amazing because this dude has some amazing techniques and lots of crossover and switching between what do you call it? Traditional grip and non-traditional grip.
Yep.
By all means, clearly not everyone nerds out at drumming videos like I do, but if you like some bloody mad drumming stuff, and you know what, just for the shits and giggles, I'm going to put the El Stepario in, because if you like freaking lunatic drummers, I mean,
he is really good. He was really good, and he posted up a video maybe 2 years ago, something like that. Kind of before COVID. But he's really like taken off during COVID. Estepario has. But he has like a how he became a good drummer video that he made, which I would recommend anybody to check that out, because it literally is just, he's like, here's how you become good. You practice every day.
Yeah.
He's like, that's how I became good. He's like, here's me 10 years ago. And like, yes, here's me drumming on video, and like, I'm not that good. And he's like, and I wanted to be really good, so I practiced every day, and I forget what it was. I think it was like an hour a day or 2 hours a day or something like that. He's like, I practice every day. For the last 10 years or whatever. And he's like, and now I'm this good. That's how I became this good. Yeah. Right? Like,
I think that video is, I wholeheartedly second that recommendation to watch that video. Right. But I also think the mindset that he presents in that video is applicable to more things than just playing the drums. It's applicable to any musical instrument or hobby you might have. Just generating that mindset of being dedicated enough to it, to allotting a certain period of time each day, committing it to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
or whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, it's the making your bed theory. Is like, if you get up and you make these little steps in your day to have your day have some consistency. Like, I mean, it's the reason that like I talk shit about Jordan Peterson, because he's such a hack that it's like the 12 steps to being successful or whatever, and it's like make your bed and clean up your room, and it's like, yeah, well, making my bed and cleaning up my room doesn't change the economic stress that people are living under, the fact that you don't have health care at age 23 because you chose to go to work, right? Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't change any of that stuff, but it is helpful to be dedicated and setting a schedule as to the things that you're going to do, and then following through on it. That's basically the thing. It's like the making your bed thing is that when you make up your mind and you set your mind to do the thing, making your bed is not difficult. That's why it will help affect you positively, is that you make up your mind to do a task, and then you do that task and you feel better about like having accomplished small tasks. It's like, it's great. Yeah. It's not groundbreaking. You haven't like come up with any kind of new groundbreaking theory or whatnot. Right. It's a good recommendation. But the issue that I have is that it's pretty hacky to take that and then suddenly start talking about cultural Marxism and shit, which is just straight up Nazi talk. And to just weave that together and then be like, well, I'm a guru and I'm high on drugs all the time. And I couldn't even take my own advice to get off my drugs. I had to go into a coma in Russia, experimental coma to get off drugs. Like, come on, this is ridiculous. He has these theories and he can't even follow the theories to apply to his own life. And by the way, if you look at his live stream, his background is messier than your background. Like, shit all over the place behind him when he's on there talking about stuff. So, it's just the hypocrisy is just mind-bendingly stupid. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you call a guy that hangs around musicians? The drummer.
There's better ones out there than that, GRB.
Yeah, what do you do if the drummer's hanging out on your front porch?
Beat it.
Pay him for the pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, drummer jokes were big in the 90s, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Well, I mean, drummer guys are generally like wildly kind of irresponsible dudes. I mean, generalizing, but not all of them, but a lot of them. I was in this cover band in like 1999, I think. And like one band practice like turned into this crazy party. Like people showed up for our practice, and our drummer sat down behind the kit and had 2 24 packs of beer back there. Like he set 2 24 packs of beer behind the kit. And the assumption in my mind is like he had brought those beers like for everybody, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean we played for like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours, probably 90 minutes, really. Just a bunch of cheese dick songs that we knew. And like there was like 6 beers left back there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just like, what is going on? And he was like fairly lucid. He was the sweatiest dude you've ever seen, but he was fairly lucid. I mean, he was up and moving around. He was like saying things to people, and you're just like, how is he not dead? I don't know, but I mean, he's probably dead by now. I mean,
Well, I can still remember we had a drummer who liked his.
I don't know if he's dead because he disappeared, but I know one of the guys from that band is dead.
Yeah, right. We had a drummer who liked a little bit of the old heroin in his body.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
We were playing a show, and he was high as fuck at the show, at the gig, and he fell asleep at his drum kit in the middle of a song.
Oh yeah, just
And we had to just hold up and wait until he came back to after a few slaps and some cold water and whatnot.
yeah.
It was about a 45-minute wait between songs. The crowd didn't get too antsy about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got to keep his car for a few days because I had, even though I was drinking a lot at the time as well, I still drove him home and put him into bed and then kept his car for a few days until I got the phone call to say, can I have my car back? I'm okay now. It was about 3 or 4 days. It was a
Wow.
nice car too. It was a VW Golf GTI, all sported up and whatnot. He was in banking, believe it
Oh,
or
wow.
not. This dude was in banking. He had lots of money and loved the H.
Yeah, there it is. It's like a nightmare, you know. It's just it's
that
difficult.
wasn't at practice though. That was at a fucking gig.
Yeah, it was like a gig. Yeah, fuck. Well, it's not like we ever got paid. It's not like we ever got paid for gigs or anything, you know.
Well,
I mean, it was always
that
like
was it. People
we
paid
always
to
had
see-
like we
they
always
paid
had
money to see our drummer
something
fall
crazy
asleep.
like $100 or $150 bar tab or something, but which was long gone before we even ever played any
Started
music for
playing,
anyone to
yeah.
listen to, you know. So
G'day, Aquaman. Yeah, nice one. You can even take making your bed one step further and take a shower. Life-changing. So true.
it's a good point. Yeah, take a shower. One step further from making the bed, taking a shower. It's just
You'll feel so much better about yourself if you're clean.
it's amazing, you know.
If you scrub under your nuts. Righto, well, I still haven't got a link from Sarah for that GoFundMe, but I almost think it's time to go. Is it time to go? It just feels like we've been going for so long now that this daylight savings change has happened.
Yeah, it's 9:40 for me, so I gotta hit the hay here.
And I'm not sure exactly when our daylight savings changes, but I know it's sometime early in April, so probably in 2 weeks' time we'll have another time change where it'll be really weird again. Or it probably won't be different for you guys. It'll just be another hour difference for me, and I'll be starting at midday my time again.
Oh, the midday action. Which is that better for you or worse?
Well, I mean, it means I have to start drinking earlier in the day, so you know, a little from column A, a little from column B.
From each side. Yeah, let's see. I can see how that is.
I mean, I could always just change the name of my stream and improve my my standings at the pearly gates by not necessarily drinking while I live stream, but you know, where's the fun for the viewers then if they don't see me gradually go from sober to drunk in 2.5 hours time? Basically, that's been the premise of these live streams since I started, is the pleasure of the viewer watching me go from a state of sobriety to somewhat drunkenness.
Right.
And I mean, no one's complained about it yet. They seem to enjoy.
Hey, before we sign off here, even though I got to go pretty quick, GRB was talking about the theory of 10,000 hours. That if you spend 10,000 hours, that's something you will become generally an expert, or at least wildly adept at it. If not an expert, you'll seem to be an expert. And it's something that I like to point out to people that full-time job, 40 hours a week, is 2,080 hours a year. So hypothetically, if you work at something full-time for 5 years, you generally become an expert at it, which means that there's a lot of opportunity here in the modern day world for a high level of expertise in people in multiple endeavors. Because if you're going to work from the age of 20 to 60, right, you could potentially become an expert at 8 things in that time. You know, and I, for one, am a proponent and somebody who proposes an ideology that we as humanity would embrace ideas like that, where people can become wildly adept at many different things as opposed to just specializing in one thing for 40 years and dying after a couple years of retirement.
I don't think the human brain is equipped to specialize in one thing. I think we've evolved to need to be able to do multiple different things very well.
Yep.
So yeah, that makes perfect sense. But I still can't think of, or I maybe can think of one thing in my life that I might have spent 10,000 hours on, but it's certainly not a money earning endeavor.
Right. Why were we saying we didn't even talk about the Russian invasion of Ukraine? Because it's
there's enough people
for
talking
anybody
about
that's
it already.
for anybody that's confused about why that's happening at this point, it's just like on purpose. Ukraine was poised to join NATO. NATO would have protected Ukraine from Russia. Putin essentially had two choices on his plate: to leave Ukraine alone or invade to take over Ukraine. And the NATO timeline was getting shorter and shorter. The government was becoming far less corrupt in Ukraine. People were starting to have a future to look forward to there, and Putin didn't want that. And so he chose to invade as opposed to not invade. And it's bullshit. I mean, it really is. A sane person would think, well, I don't want my neighbors to be NATO members. But why? Why would you not want them to be NATO members? Oh, because they'd be protected from you invading them, right?
Mm.
And a sane person would go, well, I don't want to invade them. So, well, that's not a big deal, is it?
I kind of got the impression from their fuck ups that it was just like a practice run at what might happen in the near future.
Ukraine didn't get set up. Ukraine did not get set up. Ukraine was requesting. The people of Ukraine want NATO protection. They're
ready for westernizing.
I mean, they want their democracy stronger. They want less corruption in their country. They want to be an independent nation. They want to join the EU as part of a group of nations. They want that. And yeah, there's some fringe people in Ukraine who don't want to join. Okay, cool. There are fringe people in the United States that want to secede from the United States. There are Australians that probably want to secede from Australia. Do we suddenly invade the country because there's a small, tiny portion of the population that wants that? I mean, the last election in Ukraine, only 2% of the vote went towards the right-wing wackos. Okay, so if we're assuming that there's any accuracy to them finally having an election that seems to be free and fair, has been qualified by the UN, has been qualified by independent voting groups to validate that election. This seem to be accurate numbers of a 2% of the population wants to secede and do all this crazy stuff. Yes, but the land was part of Russia and they were not a part of the NATO. No, Ukraine is an independent nation that used to be a part of the USSR. They are not part of Russia. They are an independent nation. They used to be part of the USSR, which, by the way, was it 1991 that the USSR fell? So we're talking about 31 years, right? 31 years. Ukraine has been its own country and been constantly being infiltrated by
Slovakia
and constantly being infiltrated by Russian operatives into their political system, and if people are sitting around trying to listen to Putin's propaganda that's out there, I would recommend you to find some Ukrainians and ask them what they think about what's going on. Because I have Ukrainian friends that live here who have family back in Ukraine, and I could literally call them right now and be like, well, how do you guys think about this? How do you guys feel about this? And the reality is that the people on the ground in Ukraine are not wanting to be part of Russia. They just aren't, and they're being taken over by another aggressive country. That's what's happening. You know,
That's good
like,
land, though. I can see why he'd want to take it.
it
It's a
is.
beautiful
it's
country.
you know,
It's good location. Location.
Yeah, they were a part of Russia before the USSR. Yes. When the USSR broke up, Ukraine became an independent country, not a part of Russia. The United States was originally, I don't know, the Native Americans, right? They originally owned this. They originally were the inhabitants here. Every country has a history going back thousands and thousands of years. And for Putin to step in as the dictator in Russia and say, "Oh, well, Ukraine is ours." Well, it's not. It just isn't. And every time Ukraine has tried to join the EU, for instance, Russia interfered with that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Putin's gotten that big in the head that he wants to be the first new Tsar. He wants to go back to 1917 or wherever it was when the last Tsar was turned away and turned down, whatever they called it, when they abolished Tsarism and just went with whatever they went with, democracy or communism or whatever they did.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about authoritarianism. I mean, even the USSR never really did communism. They never really did. They were authoritarian. Like, they never even did communism. So,
what's an oligarch?
An oligarch is somebody who controls power through basically money and influence and position and power. But Putin's a dictator. An oligarch would be like Jeff Bezos, right?
Yeah.
An oligarch in America would be, in America's history, would be like the Rockefellers. Right?
Rockefellers, yeah.
That's a perfect example. Yeah. So, Putin is just a straight dictator. The USSR was never really communist. It was authoritarian. And it started out with Stalin. I mean, come on. It was literally like the magnificent leader shall lead us to a new future. As much as I disagree with the communist ideology, I don't think it's a good political system. I think if somebody pulled it off to actually do communism sometime, it would be interesting to see what the result is. I don't think we've ever seen it on our planet ever actually done. So,
it would rely on too many humans separating themselves from their individuality, and not many humans are willing to remove their personality from themselves.
A lot of people call me like a radical leftist or whatever, because that's like the new Fox News talking point that they hear from Tucker Carlson or whatever. I'm democracy is my radical ideology. I think that we should have direct democracy and strong social programs, which probably calls, I'm a social democrat or whatever you want to call me. I'm not a socialist because I don't think that workers should seize the means of production. Like, I think there should be insanely strong unionization, regulation, and worker protections and stuff. But I don't think that there shouldn't be private property. I think that there should be private property. That only makes sense to me that I own a thing and it's my thing, because I traded my life tickets for it. I traded my life essence for these tickets, and then I traded the tickets for the item that I bought. Right. I think that there should be private property. I think that private property should continue to exist. But I also think that there should be regulations in place that people that own big businesses or are in charge of big businesses shouldn't be able to extract so much wealth from them that it starts to imbalance the economic system that we all live under, which is currently happening right now with a very small group of people that own just outrageous amounts of wealth that is just uncalculable. It's just your brain can't even think of, you know. I've heard people be like, I could count to 1 billion. It's like, no, you can't. You don't. Your brain does not comprehend
And you
that
don't have
number.
the time.
Yeah, and you don't have the time to do it. So,
Hey, GRB, I think there was one of them in Brisbane. I think I ate at that.
what's that?
The Genghis Khan Mongolian barbecue smorgasbord restaurant. But it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
so much a smorgasbord. It was you'd go and you'd collect up a bowl of ingredients and then you'd take it to this window.
Yeah.
And they had the big shield on over top of a fire, and the dude would cook it for you, and then you'd take it away and eat it.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not a great restaurant, honestly. It's just a bunch of stuff stir fried in a bowl, and you're like, yeah, could you have
it's
made
more
all
about
these
the-
ingredients separately really nicely, and then I could mix them together if I so choose, but I'm just going to get them all mixed. It's kind of a bummer. But anyhow, you know, just to get that little political talk in there for you guys, because, you know, it seemed like that was the request, but you know, that's where I'm at. And if people think I'm unreasonable, then say, you know, it is what it is. But you know, I've spent a lot of my time reading about political ideology, political systems, you know, laws and regulations and things, and everything can be exploited in some manner. And the reasonable people, the worker class, right? That's us. We need to have some form of representation. And I think if we don't have a strong democracy, I don't think we'll ever have any chance for any kind of representation, because no one is really motivated to represent us, right?
Absolutely.
It's easy just to hold the boot down on us and hope, you know, tell us what to do. You know, is basically what it boils down to. But yeah, I mean, if anybody ever wants to talk to me about stuff, feel free. I'm a very open-minded guy, and I'm always like down to have a reasonable discussion with people. Although also at the same time, I'm not afraid to just boot people out of my sphere, because I'm like, look, you can't just come in here and just start screaming at me or whatever, you know? So, but yeah, it is one of the projects that I'm working on is hopefully being able to have some, you know, strictly political discussion that's not just wildly out of left field type stuff in the future. So, Huawei's got Roman hands. Yeah, you got to watch out for those Roman hands. Mickham says, I'm Swedish. I could start a freaking war for someone using that false name. It spells smorgasbord. God dang it. It's true. All right, buddy. I love you. I'm late to go to bed.
Such a shame that they're dying out too with all the COVID stuff, because a good old smorgasbord used to be a great thing to go and eat at, but no one wants to do them anymore.
Oh, the like the buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they'll be back. Don't worry. Someone will get an idea. All right, man. I love you. Love everybody. I got to go to bed. Otherwise, I'm going to die tomorrow. So,
rightio. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. See you when I'm looking at you.
I'm like a ghost now. Ghost man. Oh, I have to leave from over this button over here. All right. Bye-bye.
See ya. Unit. What a unit. Oh, that's right. I was going too, wasn't I? Shall we all go? We'll just go. I picked up my ukulele. I was going to give Corvus some background music while he was chatting about Russia and stuff, but my music wasn't going to be very Russian, so I decided to leave it be. You're doing Monty Python again, JRB. Oh, the roads. I want to be Loretta Stan. Yes, the Romans were responsible for some good fun stuff, but they're also responsible for some pretty nasty stuff. But they knew how to bloody operate a war, didn't they? They knew how to invade. That's for sure. Yeah, well, that's, you know, Rack should have bloody hung around and he would have heard me play ukulele. Let's see if he just miraculously turns up in chat because the word ukulele has been mentioned. Oh, g'day, ball space. Bigger stickers. Is there something humorous about my name? Bigger stickers. I don't know. Every stream needs a ukulele break. I'm going to need 3 more votes for ukulele playing, or I'm not going to play. I know some people just don't like ukulele, so if I get 3 votes saying no ukulele before I get 3 more votes saying play ukulele, bloody words, I might not play it. I don't even know if it's in tune. Yeah, close enough. Nice one, Austin. So much for being in tune, Michael. Try that again. Fucking hell. That's about that one. What else have I got? Not much. Haven't been doing songs. I've just been trying to write stuff on this thing. So this is lovely. What have you done? Oh no, it's a different song, isn't it? I may need a lot more practice. That one needs a lot of work. A lot of work. What else have I been practicing? Oh, I don't remember where this one went, but no, didn't go there. Yeah, I don't know that one. Minor chords. Yeah, you got to do minors, Liz. Hey, you can't do songs without minors. Give me a simple request and I'll try and learn a song for next week. And I might even try and sing it if I can sing it. What have I done? What have I done? Goodness me. That first one that I played, I've been working on for years and years and years. Or maybe 18 months. But it had been so long between putting down the ukulele and picking it back up that I'd forgotten how my song actually went. And it was only thanks to Scungy having still kept little snippets of things that, little parts of it that I'd sent her. And then she sent them back to me the other night. And yeah, I had to work it all out from fresh just based on the little snippets of audio that Scungy had sent me back. Like you kids at Rocky Raccoon, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Doesn't everyone do Somewhere Over the Rainbow? Plus that Somewhere Over the Rainbow Huawei requires quite a vocal range that I do not possess. Blackbird is a lovely request, Aquaman, but Jesus Christ, I can't even do that one on the normal guitar. But yeah, I just need a lot more practice to become familiar with the ukulele again. And yeah, I know you can see a guitar behind me, but that's Scungy's guitar, and I really don't like playing that guitar. I don't enjoy it at all. All my other guitars are in the house because I put them to the higher ground. Gimme Shelter. Is that a Rolling Stones song? Yeah, I think I'm fairly certain that Somewhere Over the Rainbow is frowned upon now to play on the ukulele because every MF has done it. We've been pinged before for copyrights, Mickham, because we've got so accurately close to songs that we've covered before. But yeah, my channel's not monetized yet, so I don't give a fuck about that. We'll get pinged for some copyrights. Gimme Shelter. How does that one go? I'm so unfamiliar with Rolling Stones music, except for Jumpin' Jack Flash and Start Me Up. But yeah, it's a fun little instrument. Oh, now you're with me, Alyssa. That's not a bad suggestion. Is that dude still alive, or did he die? He was a bit of a machine, wasn't he? The singer from Type A. Yeah, I did think I'd heard about him dying. Righto, that will do, I think, because I've run out of material. And Sarah took the songbooks home last weekend. Thanks heaps, everyone, for hanging out. It's been a bloody long one for a first one back. Honestly thought I'd come back and be so rusty that I'd just do an hour and then fade away. But I guess that's the benefit of having a co-host who can waffle and waffle for hours. Well done, Corvus, for filling in the blank spaces. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. I think I already said that. Replay Team 6, if you're watching the replay and you've made it this far, you know you're a fucking lunatic. You know you are. You probably skipped the boring bits, though. Was there any boring bits? Yeah, there was a few. I remember a few already. Didn't even have to think about it. Thanks, GRB, for slinging your links. Fingers crossed, Scungy has not returned to her home yet to find me a link for the GoFundMe for her mum's car. I know everyone's doing it tough if you can like sling a couple of bucks, everything's a bonus and a benefit. Everyone's doing it so hard, especially in this area. Thanks, PJ. Don't forget Formula One this weekend. Drive to Survive. Catch up if you haven't already. That season, whatever the recent season was, 4, I think, was the last season that covered last year's season. Season 4 of the TV show that covered last year's season of the Formula One. Oh, it's so difficult not to enjoy Formula One racing. Indeed, BJ. I've been messaging and hounding, but she's not returned home yet to be able to give it to us. And yeah, she has had a couple of lovely donations from within her family, but unfortunately, not a lot of her family are in a position to be able to help out. But that'd be great. Anything will help, guys. I'm not begging for money or anything, but by crikey, what a scumbag act to have to come back from. So anyway, thanks for like putting up with my absence, because they say when you do a live stream, if you don't do it once a week or on a regular schedule, people will disappear. But we still had people here today, and I really appreciate that you guys hang around and find some kind of entertainment from the nonsense that we carry on with. Mickham, you may have to I'd be interested to try the Swedish vocals if I can get a phonetic chord chart or something, or a translation. I'd be interested. Email me, Mickham. No way I'm going to be able to spell that on my keyboard. Thanks, GRB. I've still got to test the. I'm not forgotten about you, GRB. I still have a pile of guitar pedals over there that I want to test. I didn't want to just pop them in the post and ship them out to you and then have them turn up and not be functional. But yeah, having had to remove all of my guitar equipment inside the house, I've not. What a feeble excuse, Blacky. I just haven't got around to it yet, GRB, and I apologise. But you will be getting at least a guitar pedal, probably 2 in the post from me, maybe more. Let's not get our hopes up, though. I'm pretty slack. But it will happen. It will happen soon, GRB. And, yeah, BJ, we will ASAP, fingers crossed, if I can get the address before Corvus's next stream. What's that, Friday? Yours guys' time. Hopefully he will sling that around on his stream, and we'll punch it out again next week for some more fun and wafty nonsense. Thanks, Mickham, and thanks everyone else. I did thank Replay Team 6, didn't I? Yes, I did, because it's hard to forget when you say those words in a sentence together. Yeah, right. So I will aim to have that ASAP. I might even, if I get it. Oh, that's right. You're back with him, Liz. Yeah, you got your guys' time frame sucks, because generally it's when I'm waking up and making breakfast for the parents, and then I'm just too slack to watch a replay. Anyway, yeah, let's do this all again next week, and maybe email me your ukulele suggestions. You all know my email address by now. Give me some songs to try and play. Me and Sarah did some stuff at the weekend, but then we got shushed and told that it was too noisy for that hour of the night, so we called it quits and watched TV instead. But it was good that we played some music together. We haven't done that for a while, and normally we just get stoned and watch TV. So it was good that we got a couple of hours of uking in together. Don't forget, subscribe to Alyssa Bentley so you know when she's on a live stream with Corvus. All right, everyone. Search. I bloody can't even copy and paste the text. Mickham. I can't copy from StreamYard, and I don't have this stream open on YouTube. You've either got to email it to me or Instagram it to me, or what else are we on together? Twitter? No, probably not on Twitter. I don't think many people are on Twitter with me. I do mainly just use Twitter to look at boobs and talk about cricket. Did I say talk about boobs? Look at boobs out loud? I shouldn't have said that out loud. Sorry about that. I don't do that on Twitter. That's what Instagram's for. Twitter's for downstairs. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out again. I think I've said that like 44 times now. Take it easy. Thanks for coming back. We're still here. We're still alive. And I guess we'll see you next week. Or alternatively, I'll see you when I'm looking at yous. Toodaloo.